Hey, salute to everybody that's going to be joining me today. We're going to get right into the content. A lot of people have talked about paternity fraud and what's happening in relationships, even marriages nowadays. You have to wonder with all of the access with social media the way it is. I mean, even before social media, there was issues with paternity fraud. We go back in the day. But we're now really getting a gist of what happens. They talk about, see, if you listen to women and you listen to social programming or construct that we have. They like to make you believe that all men are out here running through women. But the truth of the matter is only a small percentage of men really get access to a vast majority of women. And that's the way it's been for a while. And salute to you brothers, man. Pooh man, I see that Pookie and Ray Ray show. Salute to you brothers, man. But they try to make it like a whole bunch of men out here running through women. But the truth of the matter, it could be further from the truth. Women are the ones who fought and pushed for this sexual liberation. Men didn't push for this. Remember, fathers protected their daughters' virtues and values because they understood in the world of men, we respect virtues, we respect purity, we respect all the things that are valued, biblical. I mean, you look at Proverbs 31. When a man walks into the presence of a lady, you notice the behavior. When a lady walks into the room, you notice the behavior of men. And she's met with tremendous respect. But women didn't like that system. Obviously, there was some negatives to that system, but there was some abuse in there. There was some individual, small percentage of men that were dysfunctional. But generally, society has always been constructed around the protection of women and children. But this new modern world, this new modern woman, we have so many. You see the New York Times article. I'll get into that later on. But the new modern woman, again, feminism is about supremacy. It has nothing to do with equality. But the new modern women want all of the benefits of the past. For men, especially the financial benefits. They want to be treated like women of the past, but they have none of the qualities or values of the women of the past. And they want this financial provision. None of them are virgins. Most of them, they come to the table with pretty much just used box, heavily used box, and a bad attitude, and a huge amount of entitlement, and many times a huge amount of debt and expectations. Even the burnt out women who have mismanaged their youth, got a whole lot of mount. That's why you see so many older guys are single, because they recognize the insufferable nature of many of these women who are home wreckers, who have probably ruined their families, who left good men and come out here to the market looking to try and level up and grab something out here because they believe the hype of social media and the internet, when many of them have degraded with time and age and are just purely just difficult to deal with, hard-headed. You're basically talking to the rock. So salute to my brothers. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you guys want to support the channel, please do. If you want to join the channel membership to keep this content flowing, keep this content going, keep this content free and independent of commercialization and all of the influences that would like to change the narrative back to beating and bashing men. Which is, and they think that when they look at this channel, like we're guys that we don't have. I love the ladies. My philosophy on the ladies is I love them. I only have one philosophy on the ladies. This is my philosophy right here. Look, this is me right here. Ladies, if you see that, this is me right here. You meet me in public, I will kill you with kindness. You're not going to get anything from me other than, ladies, you see me in public, You're going to get kindness, positivity, respect. I ain't trying to correct nothing. I ain't trying to fix something, nothing. If you want to get how men really think, you're welcome to tune into the chat and tune into the channel. Or you can go back over to where the panda bears hang out and get lies. But this is the reality of life today. You can go over to the panda bear channels and have Derek Jackson and the rest of those guys whisper in your ears. Salute to you, my brother. Well, let's get into the content. Let's remove this from the stage. Get them wild horses out of there. So, hold on now. We don't want the internet acting up on us now. This situation. So this judge saves this brother from paternity fraud. Now, this is one of those situations where I call it, you're the best option to be the baby daddy. She's been having sex with many men, and she has decided that this brother here is the best option. Maybe he has a good job, maybe he has a good mental state, maybe he has a good retirement, maybe everything is hitting on all 8 cylinders for this brother here. And she has made the decision that he's the guy that she wants to be the father of her child. So she's making a logical decision. And the judge basically saved this guy's life. Let's continue on. 1 second.
I'm trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County.
This is so unnecessary.
Fortunately, it's in the summertime. School's out. I know you're.
Yeah, but you can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor?"
Hey,
in front of
stand by for a
everybody. That's
second.
embarrassing.
Gentlemen, my StreamYard is acting up. You guys, hey, good morning, guys. Hey, you guys, stay right there. I'm going to come out and come back in. Let me see if I get this going right. Okay, hold on 1 second.
Okay, now.
Situation that's unnecessary.
Everything was going smoothly until the judge mentioned the need for a second DNA test. That's when she completely lost it. She didn't think it should be necessary.
All right, hold on 1 second. Hey, guys, if you can hear me, I'm going to go out and come back in. You guys stay right there, okay? Okay, gentlemen, I'm back. Had to make a quick adjustment to my um you know, obviously let's get back into the content. My apologies. Hold on, stands. Sometimes it gets a little weird with the internet. It's sometimes just the where are we at? Let's get back into it, gentlemen. What we got? Red Pill Science. We got Nick in there. We got Mister. We got Matt Jenkins. Salute to you, brothers. So we were talking about this particular case, and we know that nowadays, especially, paternity fraud is a huge, huge issue right now. And what we see now with because we, obviously, you know, we've had how many years of this new sexual liberation movement, and the internet didn't make things any better. But this is a case and situation where a woman has decided that this particular man is the best option out of all the men she's sleeping with to be the baby daddy. And that's really what it comes down to. She has made this decision, and watch how she goes into a tizzy and plays the victim when she actually get called to the carpet to prove that this is this man's child. Let's continue on. Fair use.
I'm
Yeah.
trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. You understand, ma'am?
Yes.
So I'm ready to rule. I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County.
This is so unnecessary. Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to this too, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Fortunately, it's in the summertime. School's out. I know you're
Yeah, but you
okay.
can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor in front of everybody?" That's embarrassing.
Okay,
For a
ma'am.
situation that's unnecessary.
Okay, ma'am.
Everything was going smoothly until the judge mentioned the need for a second DNA test. That's when she completely lost it. She didn't think it should be necessary at all. It's clear she expected the judge to name him as the father based solely on her word, but that's not how it works. And the moment she realized that, her whole demeanor changed.
We are concerned about the validity of the test and requesting that the test occur under court supervision.
Okay. All right. Would you like to call either party as a witness?
Yes, please, if I could call Miss Bernard.
Yes,
Miss Bernard, can you please state your full name for the record?
Sierra Nicole Bernard.
Now, for purposes of eliminating any future issues of paternity, I went ahead and ordered that Mr. Thigpen be allowed to take the DNA test. Okay? So we,
Yes.
we went ahead and gave another bite at the apple and said, all right, we're going to make sure about whether or not you are the father or not. Okay, I understand.
Initially, she was open to another DNA test because she claimed that he had sent someone else to conduct the first one, and that's why it came back negative. But you won't believe how she will change her mind later during this hearing. It will be clear that for some reason, she doesn't want to do it. It's like she is hiding something, but the judge won't let it go.
See, there's no consequence to her for lying on this man that he's the father of the kid. So she made up a story that he used somebody else to take a fake DNA test. But see, the dude he's up there in the corner. He's like, what the hell? Back at it. So he took a test that proved he's not the father. But again, she's not going to let this go because one, the shame, two, the real father is probably a damn derelict. She don't want everybody to know that she slept with so and so and he got her pregnant. He probably don't got nothing she can extract from him. The real father is probably a broke, busted, dusty that she let run up into her and nut in her. But she's trying to hold on to this guy's resources. And she knows this is the best selection for the best outcome for her son. And the idea that's going to get destroyed if the truth is brought out. Let's continue on.
You can't make that type of claim and then make it difficult when the option for the second test is on the table.
So at the time, I believe questions were asked of you as to whether or not there was any possibility, and I'm going to ask you again, at the time you got pregnant, were you with any other man during that time, a month after that time, or a month prior to that time?
No, sir.
Not, you know what I mean, sexual. And these are kind of embarrassing questions. So I'm just asking you, is there, in your opinion, is there any possibility that anyone else could be the biological father of this child?
No, sir.
Okay, so you're absolutely certain it could only be Xavier Thigpen.
Yes, sir.
Pay attention to her assertiveness. She sounds confident, like she knows exactly what she's talking about. But soon, it'll become clear that she's hiding something. The same woman who claims to be certain about who the father of her child is will later turn around and question why a DNA test is even necessary. It seems like she wants the judge to just take her word for it.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I understand. Okay. And so you were frustrated last time, but agreed to, okay, let's get the DNA test, because I explained to you that if this was a stall tactic, then it doesn't matter because we can go way back on this child support issue. You understand that, right?
Sir.
Okay. So it was kind of like no harm, no foul. Let's get it cleared up, right? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, were you surprised when this current DNA test result came back and said he was not the father?
Well, I didn't know that it didn't say that until after she showed me the picture. Because she said the reason that she showed me the picture was because it didn't come back positive. And I said that that's not him. And so, like I said, I was very surprised that he would do that. I mean, I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised given his status and things to that nature.
Okay. So and I want to make sure I have your testimony correct. You're stating that when you saw the picture, you're talking about the picture of the person that showed up and took the DNA test.
Yes.
That picture was taken by the people that were doing the testing, and that picture was supposed to be a picture of Xavier Thigpen, correct?
If that picture was shown right now and it was put to his face when he shows his face in this camera, everyone on this court would be able to see that that is not him.
Okay. Okay. So you're stating that, do you know who the picture is?
It's his brother. It's his older brother.
Okay. All right. So you
Argument. So she's making the argument that it's not his picture, that's his older brother's picture. Hey guys, make sure you guys hit the like button first. We're going to try and get through this without interruption by me, because I know you guys want to get the foundation of the story. If you want to support the channel, please do, but definitely make sure you hit the like button. But that's her argument, that it wasn't him in the picture when he showed up to take the DNA test. Again, there's nobody getting locked up for this fraud. If women got thrown in handcuffs and taken over to the county jail for lying on men or committing paternity fraud, they would think twice about doing this. But again, this is the system that we live in. Let's continue on.
you're questioning the validity of the test.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Thank you. I don't have any other questions. So what you're asking is for a test that you can confirm that Mr. Thigpen does actually submit to. that you're asking for what you believe, you need a valid test, period.
Yes.
So you understand, we're just trying to get to the right, correct result. You understand that, Mr. Thigpen?
Yes, sir. Correct.
All
I
right.
understand. That's why I said,
Okay.
like, I know the court had power to subpoena the video footage from the time I went in there. I went in there at 10 o'clock. I was a little late, probably like 10:17. Like, I went in there with just my ID, mask, just like the instructions said. So, like, as far as trying to throw my name up because I worked hard for who I am and what I've gotten in life, that's crazy.
Bingo.
She claimed that he sent his brother to take the test on his behalf, which is why the results came back negative. But he has a completely different story. He also pointed out that as someone who's worked hard to build a stable life for himself, it wouldn't make any sense to risk it all just to avoid paying child support. And honestly, that's a fair point.
Okay, you've heard my questions for Mr. Thigpen, right?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Thigpen swear under oath that he did appear and he did take the picture and he did submit to the test. You heard him say that, right?
Yes.
And you heard Mr. Thigpen acknowledge that that is not him in the photo, and that somehow the test result is flawed because they attached the wrong photo to the test result, right?
Yes.
So I'm ready to rule. Here we go. This is my ruling. I do find I have jurisdiction in this case. And I have admitted State's Exhibit 1, which is showing a negative test result, but the picture of someone other than Mr. Thigpen on that DNA test, it has to be reliable. And it's not, because there's questions still about whether or not a proper DNA test was done, or whether or not there was some type of a mix-up by the DNA test people, or whether or not some type of fraud was being committed. Okay? I don't know. So I know how I'm going to fix that. I'm going to order this case. I'm going to have this case reset for a date in person in Matagorda County. And at that reset date, I'm ordering the parties to both come and submit at that point in time in court to an in-person date to submit to DNA testing here in Matagorda County, where the court can supervise the paternity testing. So I'm ordering both parties to come to court on a specific date, submit to paternity testing here in Matagorda County. And that way, we're going to eliminate any funny business, any confusion. The court's going to supervise this testing and make sure that the testing is done here, where that way we see Mr. Thigpen shows up, Mr. Thigpen gets tested, and there's not going to be any mix-up, because he's going to be the person that's going to be taking get the picture taken up, and it'll be his DNA that'll be taken, as well as yours again, Ms. Bernard. We're going to have a brand new test done here.
Any woman who truly knows the identity of her child's father would actually welcome this decision. The judge ordering a new DNA test to clear everything up is a great idea. And that's exactly what's going to make this case interesting. She won't like it. Even though she previously showed a lot of confidence when pointing him out as the father, she's about to completely lose it over the judge's decision. Suddenly, she's going to come up with all sorts of excuses for why the test shouldn't be done again, and that says a lot. Now, let's see what she has to say about it.
Supervised by the court in Matagorda County. You understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yeah, so I have to bring my son back to the institute, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Fortunately, it's in the summertime. School's out. I know you're.
Yeah, but you can't keep explaining to a 5-year-old that you have to go get tested. You got to pull him out of school, and he's asking, "Mommy, I'm not sick. Why am I going to the doctor?" in front of everybody. That's embarrassing.
Okay,
What
ma'am.
situation that's unnecessary.
Okay, ma'am.
Imagine causing all this drama just because you are worried about how a 5-year-old will react to being taken out of school. I'm not sure who she thought she was fooling, but anyone with common sense can see there's something off about her response. I mean, let's be real. There's no need for a long discussion or any major convincing when it comes to pulling a 5-year-old from class for something like this. He's too young to fully grasp what's happening, so her argument doesn't hold up at all. At this point, it's pretty clear she doesn't want the test to be done again, because this time, it'll be supervised by the court. There won't be room for any errors, and maybe that's exactly what she's afraid of. That's the only explanation that makes sense for how she's reacting.
Very.
Okay, ma'am. First of all, the court date is July the 8th.
I understand that, but
But she's not crying. She's only crying because she has to face the consequences that she let probably a broke, undesirable male nut in her. And she thought she would be able to escape this reality and pin this on this guy who's probably the more successful, and he's probably squared away in his own life. But to her, these are alligator tears. Of course, we all know it. And again, she's seeing the possibility. She knows what's going to happen if the real child, she knows exactly who the real child father is. But this is just a financial resource situation. This is a money grab on her part. And she's trying to set her kid up for a future with a man that's going to be a better father, a better role model, and provide a better lifestyle for her child. I'll be curious if you can backtrack this story to find out who the real dad is. And I guarantee you, considering what you've seen many of these women sleep with, he's probably some dude that's been in and out of jail, ain't got his life together, or whatever else. But this dude already took the test. But again, now that the court is going to give going to supervise the test, you notice that he's not fighting it, right? He's not fighting at all. He already know that it's not his kid. He's just there quiet because the results is going to be the same. So she was hoping that the judge would just throw out the DNA test, label him as the father, assign responsibility to him. But this guy, it's like, you know what? Let's order another test, a supervised test. So let's continue on.
I'm saying initially I had to do that. Now I'm having to take him again somewhere to get tested. And he's not, in his mind, he knows, Mommy, I'm not sick. What's going on with me? You can't explain to a child, you have to go get tested for DNA.
And how old is your son?
He just turned 5. And do you think his dad called him? No, he didn't.
Okay, ma'am, please don't interrupt me. Let me address your frustration. Your son's 5. Okay. At 5 years old, you can pretty much just say, hey, we're just doing something. He's not going to the doctor. Okay. They're just going to do the DNA swab testing here. Okay. Or whatever testing they do. It'll be quick. It'll be done. It'll be finished.
Was she crying because she was upset about her son's day being disrupted by a DNA test? Did she honestly expect everyone to believe she's just worried about his reaction? That's probably the last thing on her mind. What she's really concerned about is the result of that test, and she's clearly trying to avoid it. I think she expected the judge to just take her word for it and declare him the father based solely on what she said. That would explain the confidence she showed when she insisted he was the one, as she wasn't with anyone else at that time. But the judge is going to need more than just her word to make that kind of ruling.
Okay, ma'am, do you understand? I'm trying to resolve this. I cannot resolve it on evidence that is not reliable. You understand, ma'am?
Yes.
Okay. If he comes back positive, that issue of paternity goes away. He's dad, end of story. We move on, we finish. I am going to finish this case. Do we understand, Mr. Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. And if the right thing turns out to be that Mr. Thigpen is not the father, then Mr. Thigpen, the right result is that Mr. Thigpen is not the father. If that's what the test shows, a reliable test. You understand, Ms. Bernard?
Yes.
Okay. And I know Those words are hard for you to hear when you have testified and said, there is no way that anyone else can be the father but Xavier Thigpen. I get how hard that is for you. But ma'am, that is simply your word against his. And so I need, with the test results, I eliminate that problem. I forever eliminate that problem.
But seriously, what exactly did she expect the judge to base his ruling on? He said it perfectly. Right now, he doesn't have enough evidence to make a decision. That's why a second DNA test is the only way to clear up any remaining doubts. As the judge pointed out, all he has at this point are her words, and that alone isn't enough to prove he's the father. Without solid evidence, there's really not much the judge can do. That's why ordering another test is the most reasonable and appropriate step to take.
But I will tell you, had that test result come back from Mississippi and the results said negative and his picture was there and it appeared that he went and showed up, then we got a whole different problem of you saying that's not valid, can't be valid. That doesn't mean we couldn't have had another test. But with the picture not even matching up, it made it easy for me to order a test, but a test here in Matagorda County. I don't want any funny business going on. I don't want any confusion going on. I want it clear and I want it done and I want it done right. You understand, Ms. Bernard? So do you understand my ruling?
Yes.
She wanted the judge to say he sent someone else, so he would declare him legally the father without further testing. I don't think he is the father. She is beside herself that he gets another test. He's not the father. If she's not lying, she would want the test. I have a feeling he is not the father. She doesn't want another DNA. I wonder why or what she is hiding. The mother should welcome another DNA test. Why is she so upset?
Y'all are now ordered to come back on July the 8th. Y'all are ordered to appear in court that day. We're proceeding with or without y'all on that day. And that is my ruling. And I do believe my ruling is in the best interest of the child. And I do have jurisdiction on this case. So is there anything else, Ms. Lee?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
The truth is, she's always understood his ruling. And deep down, she knows it's the only real way to clear everything up. And that's exactly where the problem lies.
Now, the question becomes, even though it's court ordered, will that test happen? Or what would be her next play to wiggle out of this situation? What strategy is going to come next? Because she knows she's busted now. Right now, those alligator tears don't matter. Right now, she's just pivoting right now, figuring out, how the hell am I going to get out of this one? Because her money grab strategy did not work. It completely blew it up in her face. So let's move on. And one of the topics that I decided today was, where have all the men gone? A dating and relationship crisis. And we want to deal with the article that that came out in New York a little while ago. Well, actually, by a couple of weeks ago? New York Times, where have all the men gone? Whew. We got to get into this. Let me share the screen. This is the article that came out. That particular article, where have all the men gone? And again, we've seen lately, there's been this huge, really focus on Gen Z men, because again, they're at that age right now. The young men, what is it, 96, 97 to 2010 is Gen Z, where they're really coming at Gen Z men hard, talking about marriage, talking about relationship. We've seen Scott Galloway put up so many of his different videos about what's really happening in the dating and relationship market with the young men. But what's missing from the conversation in all of this, because they talk about certain things. I mean, most of the times they're addressing the young men. Much of the conversation is about shame, how their masculinity is not the same of the men of the past, how they don't have traditional values. Remember, they've spent the past 70 years systematically attacking manhood and masculinity, describing masculinity as toxic, gender ideology, trying to make men more feminine. But I think they didn't calculate the drop in birth rates, the men not marrying women, men checking out of the dating and relationship market. They didn't calculate all these things in the equation that would happen. And now that we've seen that nobody's sponsoring these restaurants, women are aging, guys are not marrying them, people are still having sex. They're having quite a bit of sex. Maybe not everyone, but sex is still going on. But marriage, you can forget it. And it's an interesting, let me see if I can access it this way. It's an interesting article.
Hi, everyone. It's Daniel Jones. I'm here with this week's brand new essay from the Modern Love column, read aloud. This is something we're offering to you, our New York Times subscribers, in addition to the regular full-length episodes of the podcast that we put out every Wednesday.
Warm Saturday Night in Wicker Park.
Of Drucker and read by Gabra Zachman. We hope you'll enjoy it.
May 17th. A warm Saturday night in Wicker Park, a vibrant stretch of Chicago where 7 restaurants crowd a single block. Troy and I were having dinner at Mama Delia, one of the quieter spots. The sidewalk patio held 5 tables, 3 two-tops, including ours, and a pair pulled together for a group of 8 women. At those tables, Troy was the only man. The scene was beautiful. Low lights, shared plates, shoulders angled in. The kind of evening people wait for all winter. Still, I found myself watching the crowd as it moved past us. Women walking in pairs or alone, dressed with care. At table after table at the nearby restaurants, there was a noticeable absence of men, at least of men seated in what looked like dates. Troy and I have known each other for almost 20 years. We met at Playboy, of all places, back when we were both learning how desire gets packaged, sold, and sometimes misunderstood. We stayed close friends, bonded not just by our opinions, but by the effort it takes to stay in someone's life. That night, we made the effort. Still, what I saw unfolding around us felt like something else entirely, a collective shift I couldn't unsee. It started to become clear the previous April, when a man who had been pursuing me canceled a dinner at the last minute. There was a scheduling mix-up with his son's game. I understood. I'm a hockey mom. I get it. Still, I went. I wore what I would have worn anyway. I took the table, I ordered well, and I watched the room. Only 2 tables nearby seemed to hold actual dates. The rest were groups of women, or women alone, each one occupying her space with quiet confidence. No shrinking, no waiting, no apologizing. That night marked something. Not a heartbreak, but an unveiling. A sense that what I'd been experiencing wasn't just personal misalignment. It was something broader, cultural, a slow vanishing of presence. I spent over a decade behind the curtain of digital desire. As the custodian of records for Playboy and its affiliated hardcore properties, including sites like Spice TV, I was responsible for some of the most infringed upon adult content in the world. I worked closely with copyright attorneys and marketing teams to understand exactly what it took to get a man to pay for content he could easily find for free. We knew what worked. We knew how to frame a face, a gesture, a moment of implication, just enough to ignite fantasy and open a wallet. I came to understand, in exact terms, what cues tempt the average 18 to 36-year-old cis heterosexual man. What drew him in? What kept him coming back? It wasn't intimacy. It wasn't mutuality. It was access to simulation. Clean, fast, and frictionless. In that world, there's no need for conversation. No effort, no curiosity, no reciprocity. No one's feelings to consider, no vulnerability to navigate. Just a closed loop of consumption. What struck me most wasn't the extremity of the content. It was the emotional vacancy behind it. The drift. The way many men had quietly withdrawn from intimacy and vulnerability, not with violence or resistance, but with indifference. They weren't sitting across from someone on a Saturday night trying to connect. They were scrolling, dabbling, disappearing behind firewalls, filters, and curated personas. And while they disappeared, women continued to gather, to tend, to notice who wasn't arriving, and to show up anyway. I'm 54. I've been dating since the mid-'80s, been married, been a mother, gotten divorced, had many relationships, long and short. I remember when part of heterosexual male culture involved showing up with a woman to signal something: status, success, desirability. Women were once signifiers of value, even to other men. It wasn't always healthy, but it meant that men had to show up and put in some effort. That dynamic has quietly collapsed. We have moved into an era where many men no longer seek women to impress other men or to connect across difference. They perform elsewhere, alone. They've filtered us out. I recently experienced a flicker of possibility. With James. We met on Raya, the dating app. There was something mutual from the start. Wordplay, emotional precision, a tone that felt attuned. It was brief, but it caught light. I remember saying to him, even fleeting connections matter when they're mutual and lit from the inside. I meant it. There was just enough spark to wonder what might unfold, enough curiosity to imagine a doorway. But he didn't step through it. Not with a plan, not with presence. He hovered, flirting, retreating, offering warmth but no direction. Sexual tension and a spark aren't reason enough to sit still and hope there's substance behind the shimmer. So I named what I felt. I texted him clearly, with care, not simply to declare attraction, but to extend a real invitation to explore what was possible. I didn't chase. I invited, leaving the door open. If he ever wanted to cross the threshold, not just to take, but to meet, I was willing. I wanted. I still do. He never replied. He still follows my Instagram stories, one of those small gestures of passive engagement that so many of us now mistake for closeness. It looks like interest. It feels like silence. There are thousands of Jameses. I have known dozens. The arc varies, but the undertow is familiar. What I won't entertain is directionless orbiting. That thing so many men now seem to mistake for connection. The perpetual maybe. The emoji check-ins. The casual seeing where it goes without ever going anywhere. We call it a situationship, but mostly it's avoidance. An abdication of ownership, of feeling, of behavior, of sex that isn't a means to an end, but is communion. There was a time, not so long ago, when even a one-night stand might end with tangled limbs and a shared breakfast, when the act of staying the night didn't announce a relationship, just a willingness to be human for a few more hours. Now, even that kind of unscripted contact feels rare. We've built so many boundaries that we've walled off the very moments that make connection memorable. And frankly, morning sex is often the best sex. Sometimes you even get a side of eggs before you disappear from their bed and their life forever. This idea that vulnerability is a threat instead of an invitation has created a culture of hesitation, of men circling intimacy but never entering it. And the result is thousands of tiny silos. Everyone performing closeness, but no one making a move that binds. Isolation, loneliness, a hunger for contact that has nowhere to land. Maybe we're between paradigms, mourning what's fallen, not yet fluent in what comes next. The infrastructures of intimacy, slowness, curiosity, accountability have been eroded by haste, convenience, and a kind of sanctioned emotional retreat. It's not about blaming men. It's about noticing the imbalance, about grieving what's not meeting us, and about refusing to dress it up as personal failure when it's actually a collective reality. So here's what I'll say. You are missed, not just by me, but by the world you once helped shape. We remember you. The version of you that lingered at the table, that laughed from the chest, that asked questions and waited for the answers, that touched without taking, that listened, really listened, when a woman spoke. You are not gone, but your presence is thinning. In restaurants, in friendships, in the slow rituals of romantic emergence. You've retreated. Not into malice, but into something softer and harder all at once. Avoidance, exhaustion, disrepair. Maybe no one taught you how to stay. Maybe you tried once, and it hurt. Maybe the world told you your role was to provide, to perform, to protect, and never to feel. But here's what's real. We never needed you to be perfect. We needed you to be with us. Not above, not muted, not masked, just with. And you can still come back, not by becoming someone else, but by remembering what connection feels like when it's honest and slow, when it's earned and messy and sacred. We're still here, those of us who are willing to co-create something true. We are not impossible to please. We're not asking for performances. We are asking for presence, for courage, for breath and eye contact, and the ability to say, I'm here. I don't know how to do this perfectly, but I want to try. Come back. Not with flowers or fireworks, but with willingness, with your whole, beautiful, imperfect heart. We're still here, and we haven't stopped hoping. As for me, I'll keep showing up. Not because I'm waiting, because I know what it feels like when someone finally arrives.
This narrated essay was produced by Emma Kelbeck, narrated by Gabra Zachman, and engineered by Daniel Ramirez. The Modern Love column is edited by me, Daniel Jones. Mia Lee is the editor.
Okay, there you have it. What's your thoughts? Let me go to the comment section. The men said they wanted this, chose the bear. Remember that. And our brother said, Black Manosphere. What's the basis of this? Well, the topic's in the description of the content. But again, fascinating. But if you listen to the true context of it, we're talking about the person who produced this article is a 54-year-old New York woman. So she's been married, divorced, have had kids, and now she's back out here on the dating and relationship market, and she's getting ghosted by men. Men are just pumping her and not even showing the courtesy in the morning to treat her with any kindness, any respect. She's getting basically gaslit on social media and in contact. But the question becomes, and what's not about a conversation is about mismanaged youth. Mismanaged youth. And I think with the economy the way it is, with inflation the way it is, and a lot of content that's being put out here on TikTok, on social media, I think a lot of men, especially with, let's talk about the divorce laws, the child custody laws. Let's talk about marriages in general. A lot of content that's coming out, a lot of the data is coming out, a lot of the situations is being exposed about what happens to men in marriages. A lot of the expectations have been overinflated on the dating and relationship marketplace, where with social media and these positivity movements, a lot of women have really become difficult for men to deal with, because we keep talking about expectations for men, but if you actually try to have a conversation about what do men value in relationship, everything is so one-sided in a relationship. But now what you see now, you see the financial, the money grab now. I'll give you an example, right? Let me get that article out of here. So when I listen to that, there's really the cries of an older woman who's mismanaged her youth. She has mismanaged her youth, and she's not going to tell the younger women, look, get an education, meet your husband, get a career while you're young. Do it all while you're young. Don't follow behind these feminists. Don't get, because she's talking about connecting, but she's enjoyed sexual liberation thoroughly. That's the one part of feminism that really creates destruction for communities, destruction for women in general. It's this idea of being like, if you can have multiple sexual partners and there not be any soul ties or any bonds, that's destructive to community and family. And everything's supposed to be see, feminism told them you can engage in sex with multiple men, you can be like men. This sameness, thing, when again, men are advocates for women protecting their bodies, because men in general don't find sexual liberation in terms of wives and long-term relationship appealing. So if they want to talk about this so-called patriarchy, that's what fathers did. So now these sexually liberated women are coming back to the marketplace because of the economy, and because they're recognizing that they've been sold a bag of goods through feminism, but they won't even help the younger women. You see, they won't do it. So what you see now, let me remove this from the stream. Is a whole lot of women upset with men who are basically checked out in terms of not really marrying them or getting into a serious relationship with them. So now what the problem is that men remember what women used to say or used to be about. We remember the past, and we understand that if this individual had won the election, would they care about what men want or what men need? So a lot of women are in survival mode. It's not about men. It's not about, marriage or any of that stuff. It's about survival. So you see this transition that's happening right now where they're like, what do we do now? These crazy, they're like, oh my God, these Republicans, they're taking away everything. So they really don't value men. It's just a survival situation, right? Because everything they talk about with men is purely from a perspective of getting a bag, right? If you listen to some of their conversation, it's all about money. You can just go down the list with a lot of their conversations. Let me give you an example, right? It's all about trying to get that money. But this is just gaslight right here. Listen to this conversation.
Hard truth to swallow.
Like, why would I want to go to work and then come home to a man that wants to freak me, and then I might even have to cook and clean, or we even may make some kids. So now I have to go to work, come home to the man and some kids, and then I have to cook and clean, and then I have to freak the man to please him when all I could do was just go to work and go home to myself and pay my own bills and live in peace. Like, why would I want to go to work and then...
So what has happened now is that it's a financial situation. It's all about money right now. It's about money. And the idea of serving a man, see, they don't want to serve a man. They don't want to be under the authority of a man. They just want to be under the financial benefit of a man. They want your wallet and your resources, your pension, your benefits, your salary, so that they can live a soft life. Without that soft life, they don't plan to treat you with respect and honor or listen to you. I don't care whether you pay 100% of the bill or 50% of the bill. It doesn't matter what percentage of the bill you pay. They will prefer 100% of the bills because they get to rest in their femininity that most of them don't have. If anything, it's fake femininity. So it's a money grab out here, and a lot of it is done for the guys that they would not have been attracted to in their early 20s. And you see women like this, and most women like this are usually burnt out. They've had sex with multiple men. So they've given away their best years. I mean, you're coming in on the list number 10, number 15, number 25, number 30. You're coming in, like you're coming in like number 30. It's like you're the last option, last pick of the draft for these women. It's crazy to even think. So they really don't like that. We're really going to offer a man anything that's valuable because they've already offered it already. You got a whole bunch of them, right? They have a whole bunch of them that have the same type of mindset. It's crazy. It's crazy. Hold on one second. Let's move on to the next one. So we have a whole bunch of women making this type of content nowadays, right? Well, this is one by Delusion. Stand by. So you have these conversations right here. Let me give you another example. One second. There we go. Let me share screen. Interesting conversation. Hold on one second. Here we go. Excellent. So, here we go. Excellent. I want you to listen to this interesting conversation real quick.
The amount of men that are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to nice places, what do you want then? Do you even like women? Maybe you should be dating men. These types of guys are wondering what they're getting in return when they're getting her presents. Women can afford their own dinner. They don't need to be there, and they don't understand. There can only be one princess. The amount of men that are broke, don't want to be providers, or spend their money to take a woman out to nice places, what do you want then? Do you even like women? Maybe you should be dating men. These types of guys are wondering what they're getting in return when they're getting her presents. Women can afford their own dinner. They don't need to be there, and they don't understand. There can only be one princess.
So basically, she's looking for princess treatment, and these men are supposed to be getting her presents. Her presence is what these men are supposed to be getting. And she's talking about princess treatment. Let me just get rid of that troll right here. Help you guys out real quick. There we go. That solves that problem. So there you go, guys. Peace is restored to the chat. Every once in a while, we'll have a simp that comes through, and we'll get rid of the simps real quick. Don't get into conversation with these types of guys. Those types of guys are unsavable. Those are the guys that are like the simps, or maybe even a woman sometime. And they come into our chat because here's the difference. If you get into a conversation with them, you give them the attention that they want. What I find very easy is to get rid of them quickly, not get your blood pressure raised up. These simps are going to be what they are. Let them go be simps and crash out. This is a men's channel. We're not interested in their opinions. A simp comes into my chat, he gets kicked out fast. They got a whole bunch of panda bear channels to get involved in. That's their priority. You know, that's their business. Go hang out with the panda bears. You know, they get kicked out. We don't entertain simps and panda bears over here. This is the lion's den. We don't entertain simps over here. You're a panda bear or simp, you get annihilated over here. I will block you from the channel. I will eliminate you. Unlike many YouTube content creators, I am not dependent on this platform for my existence. This is a peaceful life. We don't tolerate irritations over here. The men are over here on this channel to exist in peace. Simps are unwelcome. Hyenas are unwelcomed. I don't give a rat's ass if simps and hyenas all unsubscribe from my channel. Don't come in here harassing or bothering the men on this channel. This is our peaceful space. Salute to you, gentlemen. Anyhow, let's continue on. So she's talking about princess treatment. But these are the typical types of women. If you look at her in her situation, she thinks that because she makes money, that men are supposed to go above and beyond to please her or pander to her. Now, these are mostly the men that she's unattracted to. These are the men that she's unattracted to. The guys that she would, there's guys that come over and literally smash her without taking her on a dinner date. When they see a guy that they're attracted to, they're getting ramrodded by the guy they want. So standards that these women put out here are only for the men that they're not attracted to. Because trust me, they're still out here enjoying sexual liberation. That's why when I talk about on that Kendra G, one of the smartest thing I always talk about with Kendra G asks a lot of these women was, when was the last time you've been sexually active? When was the last time you were sexually active? Because that's the critical element. When was the last time you were sexually active? And that's what matters. Because you're single, you're unmarried, but you're not celibate. You're not celibate. You're having sex. So what is this man getting that's taking you out and spending his hard-earned money for dinner, other than the hope or the possibility of acquiring used box? Because nothing special about it. Sexual liberation changed the whole game. Well, there were women that were getting ran through back in the days, but it's really getting ran through with the internet and the global access to men. Women are getting flown out here, flown out there. So what exactly is this man going to get in return for all of his efforts and energy to take his hard-earned money? Remember, your money is a reflection, is a representation of your labor. You had to go somewhere and work to acquire that money. And it's something that should be respected. You didn't steal that money. You worked for that money. But these particular women want to be wined and dined while they're still enjoying sexual liberation on the side. And that's the crazy part about it, you know? He's in some industrial complex, pretty much. So I think what has changed now is that we're dealing with serious issues with the economy in terms of inflation. Automation is coming. Automation is here. The Saudis invested a tremendous amount of money just recently in automation. Palantir and stocks like that obviously they took a little dip the other day, but you see NVIDIA and all these different types of companies are getting into AI. They're getting into the jobs are going to be a little bit more difficult. It's going to be a lot more financially stressful. And they ain't like these simps. To be honest with you, some of the simps nowadays are trying to put their hands on some stuff. You know, they ain't just paying money. They're like, I'm gonna put my hands on something too. So it's so we want people that, again, we're dealing with these types of women, right? We're dealing with these types of women that this is the women that now are now trying to have these conversations about, relationships, about about marriages, about whatever, and the numbers keep going down. The numbers keep going down. And I think the marriage rate will continue to go down because what is the incentive there is for men to get into relationships with these women? You listen to the arrogance of some of these women. Let me give you an example. Listen to the arrogance of some of these women.
Y'all saying pay bills or pay all the bills?
Pay bills. Pay bills. They were like, no thanks.
I don't think a lot of women are qualified for a man to pay their bills. Like, y'all don't bring enough to the table for us to pay our bills.
Oh, Lord.
They rather say I am the table than rather say than what they bring to that table.
I
So
miss when men used to protect, provide, and shut up. Protect, provide, and shut up. Nowadays, it's
and we miss when women used to be feminine, fit, and
Whoa,
friendly.
whoa, whoa. That last part, shut up.
Protect,
Why
provide, and
would-
shut up.
But then y'all saying run. Y'all saying pay bills or pay all the bills?
Pay bills. Pay bills. They were like, no thanks.
I don't think a lot of women are qualified for a man to pay their bills. Like, y'all don't bring enough to the table for us to pay our bills.
Oh, Lord.
They rather say I.
Fuck all that. What do you do for a living?
I got my CDL license. I just finished that up. How old are you? 21.
What the fuck is a CDL?
In shorter terms, I'm a truck driver.
Fuck, I look like with a truck driver.
What you mean? What do you do for a living?
I'm a risk taker.
What's your type?
Millionaires.
Have you ever been with a millionaire?
No, but I'm gonna be.
Lord, have mercy.
So you mean to tell me you would rather spend all of your good years chasing a millionaire other than taking a chance with a 21-year-old that has his CDL license, probably got his own crib, own car?
Yeah, I'm chasing a bag. If you're not a millionaire, then you're not for me. I know what I bring to the table.
What do you have?
Not a Target bag. Fuck all that. What do you do for a living?
I got my CDL license.
it's crazy,
I just
right?
finished that up.
Y'all saying pay bills?
My rule is he gotta like me more than I like him. So I don't care. I'm not gonna like you more. Like, that's stupid. He has to like me more than I like him off rip.
Interesting. Let me ask this question. Ladies, do you agree with that? That your guy needs to like you more than you like him?
Yeah.
Raise the hands if you agree with that or you disagree with that.
She's cute, but she's not really like 100% my type.
He said he just.
So we have all these videos and all this content out here on the internet. Let me get that out of there. So we're dealing with this nonsense now. Oh, salute to you, my brother. Red Pill Science. Top Gun, I see you coming through, baby. What's going on, man? Appreciate the donation. Guys, if you want to support the channel, please do. You're welcome to send a super chat or cash app if you want to keep independent men's content going a certain way. I had to kick out a simp earlier. I don't allow simps or hyenas in here disturbing the peace of men. In fact, any of you guys, if you ever in this chat and somebody comes in here disturbing the peace, your peace, let me know and we'll give them a drop kick. Not interested in listening to anything they got to say. I mean, why waste your time even coming to the channel? You know what I mean? Don't even come over here. We ain't trying to call us an echo chamber, call us whatever. You got a whole bunch of panda bear, feminine men on the internet that have that type of content. Over here, men live in peace. We're about keeping blood pressures low. Your A1C is low over here. We're trying to keep dudes alive. We don't give a damn about no panda bears, simps, or modern women, or what other people got to say. You come over here disturbing the peace, you get drop kicked. Salute to my brothers. So this is what you have that these young men, let me move over, are forced to deal with on the dating and relationship market. And they're like, what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit? What is the incentive? What is the incentive? Yes, that's exactly it, brother. Peace and success. We're not going to take that harassment of men over here by simps and all that bullshit. Yeah, we're not doing that, you know. So it's a terrible situation. Oh yeah, you say, well, Mr. Stu said Gen Z women are cooked. Gen X women that are divorced fail to lock down the man in their prime are cooked. It's tough. Once see the problem with you know what the problem too is, Mr. Stu, 97, with the Gen X women? The Gen X women's biggest problem is many of them have been through relationships. They've had either kids, they've been married, they've had bodies put on them. And when they see a single Gen X man, let's say that man has been married or had relationships before and he has established legacy. Let's say he has a boy or two. They're out here in the dating market talking like they're 23-year-old virgins. And that's part of the delusion. And they expect men to treat them like 23-year-old virgins. Even if they have worked a good job or whatever else, they want to keep their money for them and they want that man to pay all the bills. They're looking for that guy that they wouldn't date when they were 23 to come in and sponsor their life after they've been out here single on the dating market forever. In fact, give you an example of some of these women. Let me see if I can find one. There's a bunch of them. That's to do with the crash out chick. Like they come into the table with some craziness. Hey, this is an example, okay, of what I'm talking about right here. Let me give you, this is a perfect example. Kendra G, man, salute to her, man. But well, not Kendra, this is the other chick. So let's hear what this young lady has to say. And we talk about the Gen X, even the millennial women and the madness that's really, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Listen to this.
Provides 100%. You believe in 50-50 or you want someone who provides 100%?
No. I will never date a 50-50 man again.
How old are you? Where are you located? And what do you do for a living?
I am 29. I'm from Iowa and I work from home in operations. Yeah.
And do you have children? Yes.
I do. I have two.
How old are they?
I have a 6.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old.
And may I ask, why aren't you with the 2.5-year-old's dad?
He was a fling. And didn't want anything. I didn't want anything serious with him either. But he also didn't want anything serious. And so we parted ways.
Date someone with children.
Yeah. Baby mama drama, because I don't have any baby daddy drama. So no baby mama drama or anything like that.
What type of guy are you looking for? Don't describe how he looks, just his character.
I want somebody kind, somebody generous, and is smart, and is a decision maker.
Somebody's calling your fucking ass out, and now you're showing who you really are.
So like I was saying, you believe in 50-50 or you want someone who provides 100%?
No. I will never date a 50-50 man.
So these are the disastrous conversations.
And I don't have respect for them.
Again.
So you listen.
I don't give a shit. We don't respect you.
So if you listen to that madness there, oh God, especially the last one was completely disturbing. Woo! Man, I take a drink of water after watching that crap. I mean, obviously, that's the bottom of the barrel. That's what the internet has done. Even like bottom barrel ratchets of the past, like those were chicken heads back. You got like chicken heads talking to us. Men, we got chicken heads talking to us like they're good, solid, quality, virtuous women. Like this is the Twilight Zone. This is the Twilight Zone. This is the Twilight Zone. But the economy changes things, you know? And again, they're looking for some sucker simp to sign on to these relationships Get them in that. They want to go. They want to get back into that traditional mindset or mentalities or whatever else. And it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, some of them ain't even lying. I'll give them credit. Like some of them are not even lying. They're going straight for the money, right? Let me give you an example, right? At least this one's trying to be honest. She's saying what she wants. Let's hear what she said.
The feminism movement didn't unite women, it split women.
I feel totally
listen, 50% of young women don't want to have children. They're really preoccupied with making money and materialism.
But we're still
Low effort men speak the same language. I promise you, they speak the same language. When your standards are high, you will know right away a low effort man. Good morning, beautiful. They all say the same thing. Good morning, beautiful. What you doing, beautiful? Send me a pic, beautiful. What you wearing, beautiful? What you got on, beautiful? Same thing. Where's the money? Where's the money, brokey? Oh, you don't have it. I forgot. Bye. Have a good night. Low effort men speak the same language. I promise you. They speak
Oh, man.
the same language.
All of these women who talk like that are getting ramrodded by some low effort guy at night. When they talk like that, the dude that's the 11 p.m. guy ain't making no effort. In fact, they're chasing him down. They're chasing him down. Like he can't get away from them. A woman like this is in some guy's DM. What's going on, my brother? Salute to you, my brother. Salute to you, my brother, Andrew. You know, he says, I am a low effort man. So am I. I'm like a no effort man. But look at her eyes. Like she probably got ramrodded the night before she made this video. Like, look at that. That just brokenness personified. Look at brokenness.
When your standards are high,
Yeah.
you will know right away a low effort man. Good morning, beautiful. They all say the same thing. Good morning, beautiful. What you doing, beautiful? Send me a pic, beautiful. What you wearing, beautiful? What you got on, beautiful? Same thing. Where's the money? Where's the money, brokey? Oh, you don't have it. I forgot. Bye. Have a good night. Low effort men speak the same language. I promise you.
Where's the money? Yeah, guys, where's the money? He say, she wants some money. You dudes haven't been paying. You haven't been paying your ransom to take her on a date. She wants to sit there and eat that lobster and that shrimp at that expensive restaurant that you take her to. Oh, yeah, make sure you send over a ride to pick her up because she's a lady. She's a lady and you're a gentleman, despite the fact that they've been vigorously and viciously pounded out enjoying that sexual liberation. She's a lady. You know, she's a lady. You know, you guys got to step on up to the game, man. You know, it's crazy, right? Oh, we got more of them. You know, you got to step your game up. Yeah. And that's the way they think. They think literally that you owe them something just from the fact that they are women. Like they really think you owe them something. Like literally. If you listen to this crap, they think you owe them something.
A man should never ask his woman to contribute financially in the relationship. Men who ask women for money are insecure in their masculinity. As soon as a man asks a woman to contribute, to split bills, to contribute to rent, to go 50-50, because they're partners, because they're a team, and it's only fair, this man will grow resentful of his woman.
Shut up, bitch!
Yeah.
Amen. Should
As a man, you're supposed to be working more hard and getting more money to spoil me and protect me.
Yeah, that's fair. But as a woman, I feel like
Are you in women business? As a grown man?
I thought we was giving each other advice.
Not a man in women business though. That's given very much sassy. As a man, you're supposed to be getting more money. As a man, you're supposed to be buying me a house. As a man, you're supposed to put me above your mother. As a man, them kids, me only. You bump your head? You fully conscious? Because at this point, I feel like I could be a better man than you.
Amen.
When you're pregnant, then you guys decided to get a divorce.
Yes.
Why'd you get a divorce while you were pregnant?
It wasn't my decision.
Oh, it was his decision. Oh.
All my babies are right now. He left me with an eviction notice and no electricity. I had to go live in 2 shelters for my children. So I got on my feet. I grind. I hustle.
Oh my God.
I don't have no money. I don't even know how I'm finna eat.
They just think they get older and they getting wiser. No, because manhood ain't chronological, 25, 26, 27. Manhood is psychological. You can be the same stupid motherfucker at 31 that you was at 16. And some people gonna be 23 for an infinity. We all grow old, but we don't all grow up.
He's saying the truth. Facts. But anyhow, it's crazy. It's crazy that you see, like, I mean, it's all over the internet. It's all over the internet. These women projecting out here their demands and requirements of men. I mean, it's like they got amnesia. And like I said, it all comes down to this. That free money is drying up. The free handouts is drying up. You're not getting that money. You know, dudes are getting smart. Hey, Mr. Stu, appreciate your support, man. Hey, for you guys to support the channel, man, I got to give you guys Red Pill Science and Mr. Stu. I appreciate your support, man. I got to give you the Cash App explosion, man. Yes. Yes, thank you for your support of the channel, Mr. Stu. But this is where we're at, man. We're dealing with a situation where the women are realized that there is no more money, free money, like Mr. Stu. Remember this? Everybody remember this, right? Nobody talking about the bear anymore. What about that other stuff? What's that called? B4 movement. The women were supposed to lock up them box. Women were supposed to be on strike. Men, we're not supposed to be getting any box. And you have to remind these women about, hey, aren't y'all supposed to be on strike? What happened to B4? That didn't last. Because there ain't no money. Imagine if they shut down attention. You know, attention is the most dangerous drug in America right now. Shit, attention is probably almost as bad as heroin now. So they couldn't get the support of the sisterhood. They're like, what? We gonna give up attention to go on strike? We're not gonna be taking any sausage for profit? They can't help themselves. I couldn't even, like, I wanted to see this work. Like literally, I was a big supporter of the B4 movement or whatever else. Because it's just like a social science project. I wanted to see women attempt to restrain themselves from taking part in sexual liberation. I wanted to see how long the movement would last. That would be like the extent of, like, let's say men tried to take on a broke positivity movement, that movement will last one day. Imagine if men tried to take on a broke positivity movement, be done. One day movement, not even a day. That movement would be over half day. So the B4 movement would be like a men trying to take up a broke positivity movement. That movement, those women are so addicted to that sausage. They're so addicted to that money. They're so addicted to attention and validation. They're so addicted to that guy coming over at 11 o'clock at night and pounding them out vigorously and viciously. They can't help it. They're so busy chasing that dude. Like, they're afraid that if they don't give that dude that box at night, that he's going to move them to the bottom of the rotation. That's how they are with the man that they want. Like, oh my God. If I don't let him smash tonight, then he's going to move me down to number 5 or number 20 on his roster. Because they're sexually active. They're single, but they're active. Maybe they're all sharing, many of them are sharing one man, or maybe they're sharing, similar dudes, but they're all active. But you can't even remind them of the bear. They don't want to hear about the bear. You're like, you call a woman a feminist today, hey, you're a feminist. They'd be like, who are you talking to? Who are you calling a feminist? Even though they're hardcore feminists. Because again, it's cool to be a feminist when you're getting money. But when in this environment, shit, you can't find a feminist. You can't find a feminist. All I've heard lately is how traditional women are. All I heard was this shit right here, 100% provider man. Men must pay 100% of the bills. That's all I've talked about. Don't get me wrong. Their idea of traditionalism is really about you paying money and you taking responsibility. You're being this 100% provider. But as far as having some authority, see, they want responsibility, traditional responsibility, but they don't want no parts of traditional authority. That's why they always talk about partner, that homosexual term, as opposed to husband and leader. They don't want a leader. They just want a wallet. You can be a traditional man, but you can't tell me what to do. But let me ask the question. And again, they're using the church. The church right now is the retired 304 retirement home. The modern Christian church is the 304 retirement home. It's also the rebranding station. So when they start hitting you with a bunch of scripture, I'd be like, whoa, you wanted them. You wanted them. Because the church now is the rebranding center. It's almost like the place that rebuild engines. They remanufacture and rebuild engines. That's what the church has been. A remanufacturing plant. The modern day Christian church is the 304 remanufacturing plant. We'll take that old engine, we'll break it down, rebuild it with some scripture, and put it back out there and try and sell it at brand new prices. That's what the church has become. It's the ultimate den of 304s. That's why there ain't no men in there. Like the guys that got game know the church is polluted with 304 behavior. I mean, ever since the prosperity gospel has been in there, I mean, that shit went south. Because at the end of the day, pastor got to make that money. You telling these women the truth, you ain't going to make no money. That's why you see the Panda Bear channels got so many subscribers. I mean, Derek Jackson is a businessman. He's a genius with business. There's a lot of these women. Plus, he's in shape and all built and muscular. You know, it's you know, it's crazy. You know, so going into the church, you see all them hoes in there. They're in there today. It's Sunday. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong. I don't knock anybody for trying to save themselves or redeem themselves, but the old ones that was really breaking it down at what they call it, Freaknik. Oh, they all up in there. Turkey neck, crow's feet, all up in there. Bible thumping, shaking that hand like this with all that fat hanging down underneath it. No self-improvement, won't go on a diet, won't improve their attitude, memorize. And again, if you try and call them on the carpet, they hit you with about 10 scriptures. Like peaceful life, you're a demon. They hit me with about 10 scriptures. You have me on my back like, whoa, 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 whoa. You just attacked me with 10 scriptures. That's their way of getting you off them. You start asking too many questions. They start hitting you with scriptures because you can't win. You see? Once somebody starts quoting scripture, they put out the scriptural defense. They know if you attack them, it's a no-win situation. Then you become like a bad guy. I mean, I already have the reputation as a bad guy. Me just talking to you guys like this. Hey, guys, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you guys hit the like button. If you want to support the channel, like Mr. Stu here, 97, please hit the super chat, hit the Cash App if you want to support the channel. But let's get into the conversation. That's why nobody comes to these church anymore. I don't go to church anymore because I don't want to be looking. You're looking in the eyes of some of them old hoes from back in the day. You know how they are. You're like, I'm 50 now, so I know how they move. You know, I know the pastor's retired pimp. I'm looking at them old 304s. Then they're talking about where all the good men went. These men ain't marrying us no more. Well, didn't you used to be married? Yeah, but I filed for divorce and I got 2 kids now. I want a new man. You didn't mismanage your youth. So this guy's going to marry you. You're going to give him some kids or something? What is he going to get that the other men before him hasn't gotten? And the answer is nothing. What is this new man going to get other than used box? Heavily used, vigorously and viciously pounded out box. That's the problem with sexual liberation. That's the problem with sexual liberation. Is that they're giving away, there's 2 values. Access to your body, the birth of a child. So if you've given away access to your body to 10, 15, 20 men before, are you really traditional? Are you really conservative? What is this man getting special? Is the fundamental question they don't even care to ask. What is this man getting brand new? And 9 times out of 10, he's getting nothing. That's why you see, like, I make videos about why so many older guys are single, because many times they get into that space where they're trapped, where they, you know, they're not dealing with these older women because they're coming to the table asking for things that 23-year-old women ask for. But if they go young, too young, these younger women want to have kids. unless you like a multi-millionaire like a Bill Belichick or something, and he doesn't give a rat's ass. With that, you see how he did that staged event with that young girl who's 24 years old. So a lot of older guys, if they have their stuff together and they have their self-esteem right, they ain't trying to get, they look at these older women, they be like, yo, kick rocks with that. What you offering ain't, the juice ain't worth the squeeze. You offering me old, used box, a bad attitude. It's a burden. It's a damn burden. You offering me. So even an older guy like me, this is my spot. I'm chilled right now. I'm doing okay. Like, why would I want to add a load to my life? Because they don't plan to spend any of their money. They want to spend your money. They want to spend your money. They want you to financially treat them like this is the 1930s and 40s and 50s. But even though they've been feminists their whole life, they've been feminists their whole life. And it's crazy. Their whole life. They've been nothing but a modern woman their entire life. And that's the fundamental thing we don't understand. Like, what about you is traditional? Other than the fact that your demands for a man to pay 100% of your bill. Most of these women can't cook. You clean better than them. You're better at organizing and managing because we have had to do all of these tasks as men. So you're squared away and you've had to do a lot of the tasks that traditionally women used to do. I wouldn't, some of these women, I wouldn't trust to cook. I'd rather cook myself because a lot of them grew up around mama. Mama didn't teach some of these. Mama was a modern woman herself, many of them. Their mama was pushing this feminist narrative. They got into the heart of feminism. Even for Gen X, we're talking at that peak of when feminism was starting to really pump. And these women were seeing being in the kitchen as oppression and being a wife as oppression. Like, it really started getting up in the 90s when they started making all these women power songs and everything else. So many of them sat back and watched mom in the kitchen cooking and didn't go in there and learn anything because it was a changing dynamic and changing time now. For Gen Z, it's worse. Most Gen Z women can barely boil water. They're used to DoorDash and ordering out and food delivery and pizza. Even some of these women, you go over to their house, you don't see nothing in their refrigerator but leftover Chinese food. you got, and I said it earlier before, like, when you date a woman, if you deal with a woman nowadays, you got to look at her medicine cabinet. You could be dealing with an absolute nut. When you date a woman nowadays, look at her medicine cabinet. Take a picture. Go to the internet. Do some research. You want to make sure you're not dealing with somebody who's got some serious personality disorders, bipolar or whatever the hell. Because what has happened with this sexual liberation and that part of feminism is a whole hell of a lot of trauma. See, men designed the situation to protect women. And that woman was handed from her father's cover to her husband's cover. So she wasn't out here getting ramrodded and ran through. But women didn't like that system. They fought to be from under that system because it was a more controlled, regulated sexual marketplace. So ever since the advent of the birth control pill, sexual liberation took off, feminism was pushed, corporately sponsored, government supported. It did not liberate women. It actually made things worse. So when you date a woman today, I always talk about in the video is man versus mental illness. Man versus mental illness. A lot of these content creators don't really understand how crazy it is. As a guy who's worked in the, going those cell blocks and worked in there, and you do searches, some of these women, when they empty out their purse, it looks like a drugstore. So you may think that these women, when you see them on screen and they're talking, you may think, oh, shit, she's pretty confident and cocky, but that's medication talking. That's not her talking. That's the medication talking. So now you gotta vet in 2025. You've got to vet for serious mental illness. It's crazy. You got to say, okay, what the hell? Like, am I dealing with a complete and total narcissist? This woman has personalities to a life. Imagine a world where you've lived through a system that excuses all of your bad behavior, that never holds you accountable for anything, that praises you, that tells you how wonderful you are. We've had so many positivity movements for women, even body positivity, even a movement that tells you if you're a fat, lazy load, that the world's supposed to accept you and you're beautiful and you're wonderful. That's why all of these women think that they're a 10. Everybody's a 10. We're just average guys over here. Well, I'm an average guy. But everybody's a 10. Fat, she's a 10. Everybody's a 10 with the women nowadays. They all think they deserve a millionaire. They're all 10s. They all deserve a millionaire. So you're dealing with a person that's detached from reality. Do you even want to game that? You might discover that she's on 5-10 medication. So what if she gets sad and depressed and don't take her medication for a week? You're screwed. Hey, appreciate it, man. He said, Red Foley, Derek Cal is speaking from the grave through this man right now. What if she misses her medication? You know what I'm saying? If he knows. So you gotta understand, like nowadays you gotta be an expert at identifying mental illness. How do you identify bipolar, personality disorder, extreme? Because nothing worse than somebody that's got some serious mental illness and you're trying to date them and you discover too late. And now you got a crazy person on your hand, because what you see is just what they do is they regurgitate a lot of TikTok. So they're regurgitating social media and they're not really living in any reality. I mean, they're like going back and forth. Like they really regurgitate a lot of social media because it's always in their face and they're always talking about it. It's crazy. Like I'll give you an example, right? How delusional they are, right? Here's an example of the type of things that they listen to. I'll give you an example. All right. This is how out of touch they are with reality. I want you guys to listen to this.
Do you know how horrible it is to have to go on a date with a guy because you need a meal? And it's like, I don't even want to be nice to this person or even get to know him. I'm hungry.
I feel bad for you.
I don't know. But I have a strong feeling that we are going to have a lot more thinner people out here with the price of everything. And like, in this past election, we were told that the price of food would come down, but it seems like it's just going up. So do you know how horrible it is to have to go on a date with a guy because you need a meal? And it's like, I don't even want to be nice to this person or even get to know him. I'm hungry. I don't know. But I have a strong feeling that we are going to have a lot more thinner people out here with the price of everything. And like, you know, in this past election, we were told that the price of food would come down, but it seems like it's just going up. So
I'll be honest with you, man. I think it's going to be like some Amsterdam type bullshit out here in these streets. They're going to be selling box. Box is going to be sold like McDonald's. There's going to be like drive-through McDonald's box selling. So at this rate of brokenness, there'll be drive-through McDonald's box. It'll be like car wash box. Dude, go through like a brothel that'd be like a car wash. He go through one end and he come out the other end fully cleansed. Let's continue on. That's not even, go ahead, next.
To the mama that needs to hear this, it does not matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. To the man that God has picked out for you, it is not going to matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. So stop falling for that propaganda and stop listening to it. That's it, and that's all, my girl. That's the reminder of the day. To the mama that needs to hear this, it does not matter how many cars.
Now, here, there you go right there. That's the example of these born-again Christian women. You see that? That's what they're doing in the church right now. That's what's going on in the church right now. Yeah. She's like, you see what they're doing? But she's not worried about the other part of the Bible. Listen to it. This is why dudes don't go to church no more. This is exactly why dudes don't go to church no more. Listen to this crap.
Do you know? To the mama that needs to hear this, it does not matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. To the man that God has picked out for you, it is not going to matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. So stop falling for that propaganda and stop listening to it. That's it, and that's all, my girl. That's the reminder of the day. To the mama that needs to hear this, it does not matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. To the man that God has picked out for you, it is not going to matter how many car seats you got in your back seat. So stop falling for that propaganda and stop listening to it. That's it.
So God didn't pick out the men that you had kids with, the man that got into your box and impregnated you and made babies. You saying the Lord didn't help you, didn't pick that man out? I'm telling you, man, they're looking for sucker simps. And the church is like a engine rebuilding for 304s. They rebuild them. They pray, they quote some scripture over their box, and that box is revirginated. I don't know if the pastor drops some holy water on their box and they become virgins again. Something's going on in that church. Maybe he dip them in that pool of holy water, and the box just gets tight again like this. And it's like brand new. Go out here now. Go forth, my child. Seek ye husband with your new virginity, your new virginity, your reborn again virginity. Like a man's not supposed to care about their past. That's what happens when you take part in sexual liberation and follow behind these liberals in their sexual liberation. And then you want to get mad when the men are not signing up for this bullshit. You know, and the men check out. See, they don't want to talk about that, you know, and it's crazy. And they say men like me are the problem, right? And I'm just really just spitting truth and facts and, you know, whatever else. But it's going to get worse. I think we're heading to a stage where there's going to be brothels. There's going to be brothels. There's going to be brothels. There's just no other way out of this. There's no other way out of this. This type of people like this will never be in power anymore for a long time. They're not going to get rescued by people like this. It's not happening. It's not happening. So that's never going to happen. And this is the new. It's not going to happen. It's the new hustle right now. Get that banner out of there. You know, and again, he said vending machine box. What do you think it would be like? I mean, like on a serious note, gentlemen, what would the conversation be like if this lady became president? If Kamala Harris became president? What would be happening right now? You notice you don't hear anything much from the alphabet community. You don't hear them pushing and pumping feminism. Yeah, exactly. Mrs. Stew, he said, children are expensive. Why should a man invest in another man's child? Why didn't her relationship with that man or men work? Exactly the point. But they're going to say, well, you can't. God has forgiven me with my past. See, they got all the scriptures remembered. Now, Mrs. Stew, I said, you know they're gonna hit you with that scripture. You know, they're gonna come at you. You know, they come at us, right? They got them all remembered. They got them all remembered, man. That's why I would say that. This is why I hit them with this. Because they got all kinds of scriptures remembered. You know, they got it. You gotta be ready for them. You gotta be ready for them, man. You know. But you know my philosophy on life. I've always taken on this philosophy. We've got to discuss, let these wild horses run free. And I'll tell you why. Any type of attempt, you see earlier, right? I booted a simp out of our chat, a Panda Bear simp. They're unredeemable. A guy who's a simp and a Panda Bear in 2025, only thing that will save him is pain. Pain. Then he's going to go through some red pill rage. Then he's going to have to graduate from that. Then he can come over here with us. He hasn't graduated yet. So that's why I got rid of him, because it's like an elementary school kid talking to us. And like I said, I don't allow bitch ass dudes and simps to come on this channel disturbing the peace of good, honorable, hardworking, honest men that are here every day. Take your ass over to the bitch ass channels. We have our system over here. Pretty much. Yep. That's pretty much where you go. So you can't talk to them. You can't talk to any of the simps. You can't talk to the 304s. And I always tell guys, wherever you meet a woman, that's where she's at. That's who he is. That's who she is. No rescue programs, no bailouts. Wherever you meet a woman, wherever you meet her at, wherever point she is in life, that's who she is. That's what she's about. That's what she believes in. But you want to be able to examine her and her truth. You want to be able to listen, not judge or correct. You don't want to judge her or correct her. You want a woman to give you all of her truth. I don't give a damn how much of a 304 she is or whatever, how much of whatever. You want her to tell you about, oh, man, in the past I did this and I did that. Oh, I used to beat dudes for money. Salute the Red Pill Science, man. Appreciate your support. It's a wrap for them in Trump economy. It's a complete wrap. I think it's going to be drive-through brothels. It's going to be like a car wash. A dude pull up in his car like this. Look, just go through the brothel like this. Look. 2 chicks will jump on him, service his equipment, service his engine. And by the time he gets to the end of the car wash, give him a back massage and a good cleansing and send him on his way. There's going to be car wash brothels. The same system as a car wash. That's where we're going right now. Considering how the economy is, with all these programs gone, it's either you adapt or you're going to be, because all these programs is gone. They're going after Section 8. They're going after everything. All these handouts, all these lazy people who don't want to work. It's going to be painful, brutal. For anybody that's about, hard work and discipline and know how to manage their money and whatever else, inflation is still a problem. They're going to do well, especially if they're good at investing or whatever else. It's going to be painful. But going back to what I was talking about, you want to keep women talking. Never interrupt a woman when she's telling on herself by injecting the correct thinking or any correct form of values. Remember, they're listening to TikTok. They're getting panda bears. Panda bears are in their ears all day long. Nothing you say to correct her chain of thought is going to result in anything positive other than resistance. She might even think you're a misogynist. She might think that you're just a outdated dinosaur, or you don't respect and value her independence, or you're one of those dudes that hate women, or just maybe you're a red pill dude or something, some weird shit they're going to say to you. Whatever it is, it's not going to work out positive in your favor. But when they talk a lot, it allows you to put them in a box or disqualify them immediately and take a hike because the juice ain't worth the squeeze. You want them to put out all of their bipolar information, all their trauma, all their degeneracy. And you got to be like, oh, yeah. Oh, wow. That's interesting. Fascinating. Oh, no. Just go ahead and keep talking. I think, you've lived a very interesting life. Tell me more. I mean, I'm curious. I see that you've learned a lot from your experiences, and I want to hear more about it. You sound like you have a very exciting life and a very good, solid, well-rounded perspective on life. Let them keep talking. Even though you may think in your mind, like, this right here is a 304. Damn, this is the degenerate. Or, man, she did that dude like that. Damn, she did him wrong. All those things in your mind might be like, I got to watch out for this one. Let them talk. You tell me you got that guy arrested? Well, she may have gotten some guy arrested on some false charges back in the day. You want her to say that. Oh, yeah, because they braggadocious. They'll tell you all this stuff. Oh, yeah, back in my boyfriend in the past, yeah, I got him, yeah, I made up some stuff and got him thrown in jail because they have big mouths. You want them to tell you everything. Get them talk. Yeah, exactly, Red Pill. You want them to tell you all because they got diarrhea of the mouth. Because that's why Tyler Perry has made so much money. That's why he's a billionaire now. He understands that their agents of trauma. They live off trauma as their drug. So they can't keep running their mouth. They can't stop running their mouth about trauma. So you got to let them spew to you all of their bullshit, how they've screwed dudes over, how sexually active they are. Oh, wow. Oh, whatever. Oh, you told me you're funny. You had sex with all them dudes in 1 week? I'll tell you, girl, hey, you got some serious game. Yeah, girl. Or whatever. Like, you got to encourage them to keep running their damn mouth because they like trauma. And that's why I think social circle is the best way to meet women, because they will say things to one up each other, one up trauma each other. Or, girl, back in the day, I was doing all them guys. I was having sex with these guys. I was sleeping with drug dealers. I remember this drug dealer, this guy used to sell drugs. He used to pick me up after school. Yeah, we used to go out to the park. We used to have sex in the back of his van, or we had sex at this place. He'd take me over to the house, have sex with me. He used to buy me this and buy me that. You want them running their damn mouth. So if you come in there and you try to judge or interject your values, you've denied yourself valuable knowledge. Knowledge is power. So people will see me on this channel, on this platform. You think that I talk to women out here in the outside world with any type of this stuff? Even red pill knowledge is designed for your benefit, to be in your head. You don't let women know you have red pill knowledge and you understand female nature. You don't let the women know that. He said, play Dr. Phil. Absolutely. With these bras, and they will snitch on themselves. Absolutely. So you can put them in a box, whether they're recreational use, whether they're too crazy to mate with. The biggest thing is finding out whether they're too crazy to mate with, because you don't want no psychopath chick calling the cops on you or at your house, and you want to find out if they're on some medication. That you said, had to check this clothes. She slept with 13 dudes at once. I shake my head at all her boyfriends. Yeah, because you're really dealing with sexual liberation. Changed the game, man. You say, Roger Spice, they keep flopping their germs-filled kisses. Salute, my brothers. Like I said, you guys hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. We're cooking here on a Sunday, because I ain't going into that. I've been to church in a while. I know, and I can see my mom shaking a stick at me right now. I ain't been to church in a while. Even look in the eyes of all those retired 304s at that church. That's just fucked up, right? He said they will reveal all their secrets. Men just have to be disciplined enough to leave them alone afterwards. You gotta, when you find out a chick, like, I remember I saw this one chick, right? Like a chick I know from the past. She was in a relationship with a dude I know. But the relationship broke down because he did something that she didn't like. And she tried to put fake domestic violence charges on the guy. She eventually dropped them. But once they start doing that shit, they can always do that shit. Many women can. But if you keep them talking, you can find out that this person has done that in their past. And once women have done certain things in their past, they will do it again. When push comes to shove and all the chips are down. If she's made false allegations on a man before, she'll do it again. They don't, they don't change much. They just get better at hiding their defects and hiding it from men because they want to secure that bag. So they get better at doing it. But the only solution you have now is adaptation. That's why I talk about adaptation on this channel. You have to adapt to the world. You push it. No point in fighting against the rapids. No point in fighting against the rapids. You're just going to crush your head on a rock. So that's why I said let these wild horses run free. No fight, no point in fighting upriver against the current. You want to go sideways to the side and try and grab onto a tree limb or something to get up out of that water. You're not going to win. You're not going to win against an army of simps, panda bears, modern women, the general society. Ride the wave. Get yourself a surfboard. Get yourself a surfboard and ride the waves. Let them keep talking. Let them keep putting you up on their whole life. Don't tell them that you have certain knowledge of their behaviors, because you want to use that trauma addiction to your advantage. So even though I think these movies like Straw and all that stuff is disgusting and disturbing, it gives you a mindset. You know, like every time they talk about relationships and dating, the conversation automatically goes to some guy who has abused them or traumatized them. They all are victims. There's none of them that are women are just like that. Most modern women are like that. Majority. There are very few. We're dealing with a unicorn dating and relationship market as it is. So the majority of them are full of trauma, because that's what sexual liberation created. So, yeah, you said judging them hurts the next guy, right? Yeah, judging them hurts the next guy because they know what the exactly. Boom. You nailed it. You want them talking. That gives you a head start to run. You know, and you definitely want to get a shot of that medicine cabinet. And you want to get a look at their houses too, because some of these broads are trifling. You go to their houses, you look in the refrigerator, you see only leftover pizza and Chinese food, DoorDash, sink look dirty. You see dishes in there, the back dirty. You know, when you want to, if you're taking a woman serious, you go over to her house. Do an inspection. Check that medicine cabinet. Make sure she ain't on that heavy psych meds. Look around her place. Is that bathtub got soap scum in it? Trash is full up in the bathroom trash can. Floor ain't clean. Clothes in places where they don't belong. Not organized, not squared away. You open her refrigerator or her freezer is empty. No packed, no meat, nothing saved up for rainy. Like, you know, people keep meat and whatever else in case, you know, you have to cook and whatever else. Look, run your hand across that counter. Make sure there ain't no dirt on that damn counter, because you don't want to have a lazy, nasty broad. You got to do a whole bunch of shit nowadays. But the most critical one is getting a picture of her medicine cabinet, because there's a lot of crazy broads out here now. Social media, sexual liberation. There's a lot of these women are nuts. Like literally, all these red pill dating coaches and pickup guys, they're giving guys these antiquated, outdated, whatever. You want to look for mood stabilizers. You want to look at some heavy psych medication, man. You want names of the medication? Sure. Let's see. What is the most common one for bipolar? Well, personality disorder. Let's see. So you want, and you're looking at antidepressants and mood stabilizers. I know Depakote used to be one in the past, but they have all kinds of synthetic brands of medication. Was it Valproate? All kinds of stuff. Like, you can Google it, but you can when you take a picture of that medicine cabinet, you want to take it to the internet and take a look. You want AD? You're gonna have to Google that, man, because I've been out of the game for a while. They may have developed about 10 more medications. I'll give you some old, medications like Prozac and shit. They got some new shit on the market right now. He said most of them self-medicated with marijuana. Yeah, they got that. Yeah, crazy medications, right? You got. You're gonna have to look up the new stuff. And also, too, you want to make sure she ain't taking no Ozempic. Some of these broads are on Ozempic. Ozempic is going to jack their kidneys up, jack their digestive system up. Some of these broads are taking Ozempic to lose weight, the diabetic drugs. So you got to worry about that shit too. What's she doing to her insides? There's all kinds of stuff they be on, nowadays, especially with, all these enhancements. So that's what you're dealing with now. But you're not going to get any of that information unless you let them talk, because you're just doing an evaluation to see whether you could cut your losses or pursue with any type of you're just trying to make a risk mitigating analysis, objective risk mitigating analysis of what this woman is worth keeping around. Again, we're dealing with a unicorn dating and relationship market. You're dealing with the 5% woman. If you got one, you've hit the lottery. If you haven't got one, you're basically you got a better chance of winning a lottery out here today because of the way things are with social media. And it's global. It's global. It's global. It's global now. It's global. It's not just in America, in the West. It's you gotta move a certain way globally. That's why I say social networking is critical, because you can kind of, I'm telling you, nothing. Have you ever sat around with a bunch of women and men, or women or whatever, and you sat around with a bunch of women and you just let them talk, and you don't interject any type of criticism or pushback? You really get to see, like, before social media and before all this internet stuff, we knew everybody in the community. We knew everybody around us. People met at churches, people met at parks, people met just doing regular life activities at maybe a gym, a school, a business, at the job. Now people are not as social as they used to be. So you knew everybody in the town. You say social media, security at the airport broke. Oh, yeah, like you knew everybody in the town. Like if you grew up in an environment and you know everybody around you. You know who's at the church, that's so-and-so's daughter, that's so-and-so's son, that's the pastor's daughter. Yeah, she's good people's, man. Has a good reputation around town. You've met her and talked to her, she's a good person. Or maybe this person recommend that you deal with this person. You can say, well, tell me about her and tell me about her past. Oh yeah, she did this. She's got good whatever. You know what you're dealing with. And now you don't know what the hell you're dealing with. It's all a mystery now, because we're so disconnected from the people that we're meeting today. And this thing right here is in everybody's face. Like, women are literally, how can they it's hard to develop much when this is in your face all day long. when you live in a society where there's no accountability, and we're dealing with, and it's basically consumerism and corporations. Like, for instance, we know that TikTok is owned by the CCP, and they brought feminism into their own society to increase the amount of spending and profits so they can fund their military machine. They're regretting that now because their divorce rate is atrocious in China. They're regretting that they brought feminism into that stuff to try and stimulate their economy more and get more spending going. Now they're getting crushed. Birth rates are down. Divorce is high. Dudes are checked out. They call it laying flat in China. You know, it's like these young dudes are like, hell no. You know, like they have all kinds of problems. Like they think it's just the West. Like literally, like, look, if you look at what's going on in China right now, right? When they have the laying flat movement, where everybody just checked out. Look at the panda bear laying flat. Everybody's laying flat. Like, it's crazy.
Recently, one phrase has suddenly become popular among young people in China: lying flat. And this is what it looks like. What is lying flat? It means not working, not buying a house, not spending, not getting married or having children, not pursuing any career, reducing personal desires, and spending the minimum to survive. Lying flat does not mean not working at all, but more like working 1 or 2 months a year. When one earns enough, one stops working for the rest of the year. It's a new attitude and way of life among young people who refuse to be money-making machines or a slave to money. They actively lower their desires for life. This young man is known as the master of lying flat. The phrase, lying flat, originates from his article, Lying Flat is Justice, in which he declares, lying flat is me being wise. Only when lying flat, human beings are the measure of all things. His daily routine is to lie flat, eat only 2 meals a day, and work occasionally. For example, he goes to Hengdian, a movie city in China, to work as a crowd actor for 1 or 2 months a year. On the movie set, he lies flat, playing dead bodies. His doctrine of lying flat immediately gained a following of young people who gained a different kind of hope from it. On a popular Chinese forum, Douban, a lying flat group was quickly formed. Within a few weeks, nearly 10,000 people joined. They enthusiastically envisioned the benefits of lying flat. For example, one remarked, "As long as I lie flat fast enough, the involution can't catch up with me." Involution is a new buzzword on the Chinese internet nowadays, referring to excessive competition in a field. Another comment says, "If I lie flat, the skith won't be able to cut me." More and more Chinese people have started to compare themselves to Chinese chives, which are harvested time and again by the upper echelon.
So this is global. I mean, you know,
in the future, in life's outlook and desperation for social justice. The sudden popularity of the term lying flat reflects the total dismay of the young generation in China about their future and
so what happens in China is that you get a certain social credit score. Literally, they have a point system that affects your ability to get loans, that affects your ability to travel, that affects everything because it's communism. So if your social credit score is low, you get punished through isolation in that society. So these people, the young men, the young women, whatever, many of them are coming up creative ways to protest because you get serious consequences in that society. So laying flat was their own creation. And it's effective. So basically what it is like, man, bump this. It's no incentive. So we're going to do the minimum. That's what they have, their passive aggressive way to fight back against the system without losing a certain amount of social credit. And it's effective because the marriage rate has taken a hit. You know, it has globally, but especially in China, who has a traditional conservative type culture, it has really taken a hit. And even when they have these marriage markets out there, the men are not showing up. And guess what? Chinese men outnumber Chinese women. Chinese women outnumber Chinese men. My apologies. Chinese women outnumber Chinese men. And they're still not, they could have 50 women there, only one dude shows up. And he's the dude that none of the women want. So they've created this delusion too in the Chinese system where the women are hopped up on delusion. You say about the degrees, right? Yeah. So at the end of the day, it's like watching the dog chase its tail. Let me make sure I got enough likes on here. Hey guys, hit the like button. And if you want to support the channel, please do. Please do support the channel. If you hit the like button. How long have we been in here? Whoa, we've been going today. We've been going today, guys. It's like towards the end of the month, and we just kept going, right? But so we see all these videos nowadays, and you know, obviously it's global. It's global. You know, it's a global thing now, but I think it's just going to get even worse because again, they don't have the handout system that used to exist with these women out here, you know. And now they're just throwing mud at the wall too. You know what I mean? Like a lot of women are just throwing mud at the wall. It's crazy. Yeah, we're going to skip over that. And China is brutal, you know what I mean? Like it really gets like China is brutal. Like really, like this really. Like you see videos like that's coming out of China, it's crazy.
I don't want to get married. If I get married, I'll be poor. Unlike most of the post-1990s generation, I don't want to get married or have children. Don't want to buy a house or a car. I just want to live a single life. With this hundreds of thousands, I'm so happy living alone. Why get married? Finding someone is not easy, and we can earn money together.
I feel like you can't find a girlfriend who makes herself more worthwhile, right? I think it's too hard. Like for me, if I earn $20,000 a month and she earns $2,000, I still have to take care of her. I feel that there aren't many girls nowadays who can do housework. I have to do housework, support her, take care of her feelings, and earn money. Looking for a partner isn't really about finding a partner. It's just about getting married. In today's society, when it comes to marriage, perhaps the first thing isn't about emotions anymore, but definitely about material conditions.
Nowadays, many men are starting to oppose women because there are a lot of older daughters around. Even if the woman is a good one, men will be cautious and won't give her too much power. These little troublemakers have messed up the market, causing men not to trust women, and the relationships between men and women are quite strained. They've made it difficult for good women to have much of a market.
In China, more and more young men are choosing to stay single and childless. Some believe these men have seen through the harsh realities of marriage. From exorbitant dowries to emotional labor, from financial burdens to unequal responsibilities, marriage for some Chinese men is starting to feel like a high-risk, low-reward deal. Data shows that over 70% of men born in the mid-90s in China are unmarried. So why are young men increasingly turning away from marriage? Analysts suggest that China's dating scene has lost its way. Instead of finding a rational equal partner, men are often faced with a checklist of demands.
The current matchmaking market is filled with slightly chubby, older individuals, those preparing for civil service exams, considering graduate school, planning to drive, thinking about buying a house, who usually enjoy traveling, getting back massages, yoga, following celebrities, cycling, and extraordinary young women. And their demands on boys are quite outrageous. Wanting a stable job means you must have money now. Wanting ambition means you need to have money in the future. Wanting reliability means the salary must be handed over. All money must go to her. Wanting high intelligence means I can have a vocational school diploma, but you must be a 985 university graduate. Requiring tenderness means you must be subservient and can't have emotions. Requiring respect for elders means you must provide for her parents in their old age. Requiring emotional stability means he has a bad temper, but you must endure it.
What's even more frustrating is that some women's views on relationships are totally out of touch with reality. They constantly talk about chasing their dreams, but let's be real, they're often just looking for a wealthy guy. They claim to be straightforward, but it's usually a cover for low emotional intelligence, saying hurtful things without even realizing it. They preach female independence, yet many barely make enough to support themselves. With standards and mindsets like these, it's no wonder a lot of guys hear this and run the other way. It's not that they don't want to date, they're just too wary to even start. And some online comments point out it's getting harder to meet quality women.
Look at how many women now are using the pretext of dating to juggle several men, knowing full well it's a test, but it's mostly just finding better options, freeloading, or even scamming for money. Clearly, some guys have conditions that are much better than the girls, yet they are still looked down upon and exploited in various ways. Even if they finally meet a normal woman after several years of dating, eating, and drinking, playing, picking up and dropping off, and giving red envelopes, many men end up with their wallets emptied. Finally, when it comes time to discuss marriage, men are faced with the 5 major hurdles of bride price, house, car, 5 gold items, and the wedding banquet.
Don't think that draining 3 generations worth of savings for a lavish wedding guarantees a stable life. If you marry the wrong person, the real trouble is only starting. For example, some men are expected to hand over their entire paycheck right after the wedding. Constant arguments over differing values wear you down, and the daily emotional toll leaves you mentally and physically drained. Or take some wives who compare themselves to their friends, feeling like they married the wrong guy, yet rarely bother to communicate or reflect on the actual issues. Every one of these stages is a deal breaker for men. And the harsher reality, some people treat dating like a transaction using men as ATMs. This year, consumerism has swept through society, especially in the dating and marriage market, giving rise to what's called the gold digger economy. But as men wake up to this pattern, they're pushing back.
In the past, men would spend all their money to make their beloved smile. For the question, do you love me? They would take out online loans, buy lipstick, grab limited edition bags, book 5-star hotels, and arrange candlelight dinners, providing both material support and emotional value. Now things have reversed. Lipstick sales stagnate, consumption collapses, the diamond myth shatters, and luxury goods sales plummet.
Under this wave of thinking, some impressionable women have come to believe it's only natural for men to foot the bill for expensive outings or lavish lifestyles in relationships. During holidays, if a guy doesn't come through with an extravagant gift, he's labeled cheap or stingy. A dowry of, say, $15,000, that's seen as a sign the guy's family doesn't respect her. But now with the so-called gold digger economy crashing hard, the entire industry of emotional manipulation built around it is falling apart. Once the bubble bursts, what's left is a mess and a collective moment of reflection.
They use beauty filters to create a perfect image, weave fantasies of love with ambiguous words, stimulate men's vanity through a spirit of competition, and attend socialite courses to attract men through technical means. This type of personal coaching, which accurately targets men and has them spend money on women, has already formed an industry chain with rich content and diverse forms covering areas such as writing posts for social media circles, character building, positive techniques, anti-PUA strategies, guiding men to spend and helping mistresses rise in status, etc.
On top of that, the emotional training industry, which churned out fake personas for gold diggers, has fizzled out due to lack of results and interest. Dating and marriage platforms aren't buzzing like they used to. The influencer-driven luxury lifestyle industry has taken a big hit, and even the high-end short-term rental market is feeling the ripple effects. Some women used to pool money to rent mansions or luxury cars to stage a wealthy image for social media clout. But as the gold digger lifestyle loses ground, Demand for these things has practically vanished. The biggest fallout. As Chinese men exit the dating and marriage market in droves, it's sparked a full-blown crisis for these women. Many who were used to swiping credit cards for designer goods or pricey beauty treatments have lost their financial backing. Debts are piling up like snowballs, and some are on the verge of bankruptcy or even landing on credit blacklists. Worse still, some so-called marriages have turned into blatant debt-clearing schemes. By the time the men realize what's happening, they're left with nothing, neither money nor partner.
To put it simply, the sugar baby economy is where many women's high spending is financed by men. And now many men are unwilling to pay for it, so the sugar baby economy has collapsed. The related industries can probably be summarized into six. Six? Tell me about them. First is the luxury goods industry. Previously, many women saw luxury items as status symbols, and it was the men who paid for them. Now, this consumption chain is no longer working. Exactly, the customer flow at many luxury goods counters has drastically plummeted. Second is the pseudo-ceremonial consumption industry. From the first cup of milk tea in autumn to travel and vacations in June and July, all of these are impacted.
So again, they brought to TikTok. TikTok is owned by the CCP. To booster their economy, they brought feminism really into it. And there's videos all day long in these women's faces telling them, creating these absurd narratives of what they're entitled to and what they deserve, pushing feminist narratives, all kinds of things, high consumerism, whatever else. And then that all crashed. It all came crashing down. So when we talk about the situation with a lot of the men checking out, it's really just a matter of men just understanding that there's no incentive in 2025. There has to be an incentive. And if you ask the question, what are men getting out of the deal? Everybody want to call you a misogynist, or some of the guys that see their only value and validation in life is to serving women. I call some of the conservative guys who see their purpose in life only as that of a sacrificial animal. If they're not sacrificing or crashing out for women, they don't see their lives valuable standing alone on its own. And they're big proponents and pushers of altruism. Their identity is centered around altruism, and that's the disturbing factor, because you hear them all the time, man up, man up. They're always telling men to man up. And that's where you recognize you got one of these guys that only sees his value and identifies through women. And that's the problem. When men realize their power of the world and dating market changes. Absolutely. Now what happens now, you got to get some of these guys to get off these damn OnlyFans, and when women put posts on social media, stop liking them, stop commenting, but it's just hard to deal with those simps. The simps are going to do it anyhow. I mean, it's not like those not like the guys that the women want, but you get them off these damn OnlyFans or whatever. Giving these women likes and, boosting their self-esteem for what? I don't even get I understand what OnlyFans, these guys, mostly a lot of married guys on OnlyFans. A single guy is trying to put his hands on something. I don't even get that. I guess if a guy is lonely or whatever else, he'd get on OnlyFans and think that he's in a relationship with some chick. But, when you're old school, you got to you're old school like me or you, even Andrew, you got to put, if I'm paying money for something, I'm putting my hands on something. I'm going straight. Was it Uncle Earl? I'm going straight Uncle Earl. Forget all this, man. Like if I'm paying money, if I'm paying money, I'm going straight Uncle Earl on them. I'm going Uncle Earl on somebody. They don't have to work for my money. You know what I'm saying? My brother, man, salute to you, man. Appreciate it. They say we saw a good example of when Andrew Wilson asked Tommy Lauren when women have to contribute, and she deflected and said that he's not a real man. Purely shit. Purely, she's a damn covert feminist, man. I appreciate your support. Hey guys, hit the super chat, man. We got to keep this channel going. There's very few men's spaces that's going to just give you raw and not try to sell you some bullshit game course on Patreon. I have no game courses to sell you. All I sell is self-esteem and self-development. Because if you do self-development and you have self-esteem, and that's your game right now in 2025. Discipline, self-development, self-esteem, and understanding female nature. And that most of these women are ran through, mismanaged youth, and they ain't got nothing to offer you but use, box, a headache, and problems with they're half of them on medication at this point. If I gotta pay some money, it ain't gonna be for no OnlyFans or any type of simp shit. I'm old school. I'm putting some hands on some hips, and we're gonna break a sweat. If I'm gonna pay my money, there's gonna be a sweat broken. I'll go straight Uncle Earl on your ass. But salute to you, my brother, man. Salute to you, man. Appreciate the support. I gotta give you the explosion, man. I appreciate you supporting the channel, man. And for all the brothers that donated today, this is for you, brother. Hey, Black Goat 0. You know, if I gotta pay some money, I'm going straight Uncle Earl on their ass. Or, you know, I mean, I don't understand OnlyFans. The hub is free. The hub is free. At least the women on the hub have to work for that money. They're getting plowed for that money. But OnlyFans, sitting around here taking feet pictures, you lazy ass broads. At least the hub, they have to work. They have to get vigorously and viciously pounded out to make that bitches work. No sitting around OnlyFans playing with themselves. Look at this. I am so sexy. What? Like, what is that? At least Uncle Earl puts his hands on some hips. Salute to CGA for that statement. Let's see what Uncle Earl's talking about.
I told her she's smiling.
She wasting her time.
She was like,
listen, Arnetta would be dead as hell 10 minutes after I put my hand on Arnetta.
why?
All right.
She too old. She can't cut the mustard.
What herb, please?
I done told you.
Come on now.
Look, baby, I stay in good shape. I eat good. I sleep good. I get plenty of rest. Take all my vitamins.
So what's the average age of the woman that you date?
At least 27, 28, 30 years old.
Girl, I don't believe that.
Well,
what the young woman want with an old man?
money.
But what about the ones that got money?
Want more money.
No.
I ain't never had no problem, baby. Let me tell you something. I go with damn near anybody I really want to, because I approach them respectfully.
Yeah, right.
And I always...
Here it comes.
Oh, Lord. Here you go.
Yeah,
Here comes the bankroll. Here it comes.
This is what make it all happen right there.
That's
See,
what make it happen.
This is what make it happen.
If a man want to know how to meet a nice woman, how you meet her?
With this. First damn word come out your mouth. I got money.
But those not respectable women.
I don't want no respect. I want some ass. Damn the respect. I want you to break down like a 12-gauge double barrel shotgun and show me what you're working with.
But don't you want commitment?
What, to who?
You don't want to be committed.
I'm committed to getting her to that bedroom and giving her what she needs and let her go. Oh, no, baby, no.
That's because you don't want to listen to her because she's young and she ain't got nothing in her head. So you need an older woman your age. Y'all can talk about
what I'm
politics.
Looking for,
you could talk about
what I'm looking for is
the
not in her
70s,
head.
the 80s. You could talk about growing up.
What I'm looking for ain't in her head.
Salute to Uncle Earl, man. He's getting older now. So I don't even understand the OnlyFans simp. I have no idea why a grown ass man would be on some OnlyFans. Hey, I wish I got to do an interview with Uncle Earl one day. If he's still alive. Uncle Earl, what do you think about OnlyFans? He'd be like, man, get the hell out of here with that nonsense. If I ain't putting no hands on no hips, I ain't paying. That's Uncle Earl. Like, oh, I don't know what kind of dudes be on OnlyFans. There's something wrong with it. Like, who the hell goes on OnlyFans? It's madness. Why would you pay somebody a monthly subscription and you ain't touching nothing? You're crazy. Those dudes, I'd be like, yo, why? Let these 304s go make a damn honest living. And who the hell would pay for that? It's like that's a masculinity crisis. OnlyFans is a masculinity crisis. Look at that. Grown ass, that's freaking lost their goddamn mind, man. Salute my brother Andrew Baker came in with the hard hit with the $20 super chat. Salute to you, my brother. Easy. Hey, salute to you, man. Appreciate your support, man. But I couldn't imagine a man get on OnlyFans. If you ever hear a Peaceful Life got busted one day, not that I would, but they're going to bust me coming out of a brothel or something. I'm running down the street with my clothes in my hand, running from the cops and shit. They got a Peaceful Life. We all know he was a trick. I'm running like naked and shit through traffic, trying to get behind the building to put on my pants so I can escape over the wall. The cops busted the brothel or something. But they won't catch me on no damn OnlyFans. And then they finally got that guy. They finally got a Peaceful Life. They caught him out there in the wild. You know? I will look, whatever it is, man. I'll go down and pay my fine or whatever. Not that I take part in that activity, but they're gonna catch me on some real shit. He tried to put some hands on some hips at some brothel or something, and they busted a Peaceful Life. Not that I would do that, but that's the way I would go out. You ain't gonna catch me going out on no damn simp shit. You know, damn, that I'm too old school. I'd be like, those cowboy movies, dudes come riding into town on the back of a horse, women waving from the top of those brothels at them or some shit like that. Now that's the real man shit. That little damn bitch ass dude on OnlyFans. What kind of weak ass activity is that? I don't get it. I don't get it at all. You know, you say officers aren't checking the woods. Yeah, running around there like, oh shit. What was the name of that football player that they caught? Well, no, the football coach. The coach they caught at the brothel. What's his name? Who was that back in the day? Or owner? Was it the owner that they caught down the brothel in Florida? Old man putting his hands on some hips. Like yo, I don't get these internet dudes. How could a woman just make money of her OnlyFans and she not even getting touched? What? Hey, madness. I don't get it. That's just an epidemic of simp activity, man. You know? Hey, what the fuck? You know, who does that? Like that, like, yeah. This new reality that we live in, man. You know, maybe dudes that were raised on computers. See, we were raised back before they, you know, Robert Kraft. That's who it was. Robert Kraft. Yeah, owner of the Patriots. Look, when Robert Kraft got busted, I mean, you could make an argument that he was doing something immoral, and you know, there's the human trafficking part of the underworld. But dudes respected Robert Kraft. They're like, at least old man is paying some money to put his hands on some hips. You know, like you know what I mean? Like, you know, he put his hands on some hips. You know, it is what it is. Because majority of these women are prostitutes anyhow. If you listen to what they're saying on social media, right? Lawrence Taylor, yep. If you listen to what these women are talking about in terms of guys paying for their bills, or they're trying to, majority of these women don't even like these guys they're married. They're trying to get married to now. The majority of these women do not like these men they're trying to get married to now. They've already enjoyed sexual liberation. They've given away all the box. They've sold box. They've done all these sexual things with these men. They don't even like these guys they're marrying. They don't like them. They would never date these guys if they were in their prime. So what are they doing? They're engaging in prostitution. They're engaged. They're selling their box for leveraging it for marriage. They would not touch these guys if they were in their 20s. If the time machine was to go back and they were 23 again, most of these women would not marry the guys that they're marrying. Even that crazy Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, she actually told some truth. Marriage is for the guy that you're not attracted to. So that's prostitution. You say 5 years being a slut, and then divorce for and reconcile them. Yeah, after they secured the pension in the bag. Yeah, like you think that, like, if you don't look nothing like the guy she used to date when she was 25. Now all of a sudden she's into you. You think you the shit. That's what the problem with these simps. They come in here, and that's why I'm glad we kicked them out fast. Like, if they come in here talk about, all you dudes, whatever, you guys, you don't get boxed and all this other stuff. Really? That's what it is for you? We don't get boxed? That's the only whatever. Then you look at the chick that they're with, and it's the same chick that used to get facials back in the day. Many of us already ran through those chicks. And now that guy is married to that chick, and he's got the leftovers, and he comes in here virtue signaling, trying to shame us. That's why I kicked him out of the chat. I'll be like, get out of here, you Boyce Watkins up in here trying to, you know, Boyce Watkins trying to shame us and shit, you know. Hey, get out of here, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a challenge for a grown ass man. You know, like that's some goofy shit, man. You know, even the guys who like study men who travel overseas or whatever else, man, whatever a man does with his damn money and his Johnson is his business. You know. And unless you're a gay man, why would you care whether a man goes overseas? I don't give a damn what he's doing. What he's buying box or whatever the hell he's doing, that's his business. You know, he pocket watching and ball watching. What kind of goofy shit is that? You know, like who does that? You know, it'd be on some ridiculous crap, man. But it's always that, like, that guy that, like, is married to some chick that wouldn't have dated him when she was 23. That's always coming up in here. There's always the one that has the biggest opinion. He's always the guy that's running his mouth. He's always the guy that's trying to shame guys or de-police. Well, that's especially, I think de-policing is more of a Black community thing, I think, more than anything else, because we're dealing with a matriarchal culture in the Black community. And you know, so they because it's matriarchal, the men are like, you know, simpish, and they try to, on behalf of their queens, police the sexual activity of other men to keep them loyal to the servitudes of the queen. It's like the ultimate, like, you know, strange type, you know, matriarchal arrangement where they that's why the women don't even care about the, you know, the standards of the men. They really don't give a rat's ass about men's standards. You know, they like, you know, what this you know, y'all are our bitches. So why would we try and improve ourselves for you? That's why the whole idea of them actually improving themselves for a man is disturbing, and like even to the point where the men are checking out. They won't even try to do anything that they would deem to be pleasing to a man. They're not going to do it. You know, it's not going to happen. You know, because in that community, in that culture, you know, they can't, they don't really have an opinion. One second. So we know how that community goes. You know how they flow over there. Yeah, shit. And anybody with any self-esteem be like, hell no, they ain't doing that shit. Definitely not doing that crap. One second, I was looking for something. You see, where we going there now? He said they want things for well, they don't care. Like, you know, you're in that community, you know, they only see men one way, you know, it's like cleanup men and shit. Because in their mind, you know, they're like, shoot, you should be grateful that the queens give you an opportunity to, you know, mate with them or some shit like that. You know, it's like it's a complete dysfunctional upside down reality, you know, over there. You know, it's like, what the hell? Yeah, so they don't have any respect or any care for men or hardworking, honorable men in terms of offering them value or treating them with any decency or respect. So you're basically wasting your time. But this is usually what you have when you. That's why I kicked them out of that. Like, these are usually the type of guys that be trying to shame. Like, these are the guys. These are the type of guys that come be calling men misogynists and incels from the Black community. This is how they be rolling. They mean you dudes behave a certain way because of it's a matriarchal culture. let that ponder for a second. You know what I mean? Like, He said they want to own us and want a plantation. The libs gave the hood community Kiki and May Sims the guy. Yeah, like they don't have any they don't have any desire to offer men any value. They ain't gonna lose weight. They ain't gonna try and look good. They ain't gonna try and do any improvement. Remember the chick I put on earlier? She just completely and utterly just went off about what she's not going to do. And like, again, this is what you see. They come out, and that's why, like I told the guy, get rid of them, man. Get rid of them. Get rid of these dudes when they come run up in here with their captain save a whole mentality. Oh, I'm gonna challenge a peaceful life. I'm gonna challenge these guys. They're a bunch of incels that don't get boxed. Really? Well, I don't think you're getting much box either, because you can't find the box on these broads. It be that dude, right? And you gotta deal with that guy. Like, a guy comes up there, he wants to talk to you, and you know, he wants to lecture you and shit. You know, or be like, even better, like I had another one, right? It'd be those guys, and then it'd be this guy right here, right? It'd be this guy too. Hey, dudes be like, they be on this type of shit, right? Yeah. It'd be this guy, or he'd be coming out here lecturing men, you know, or this guy, you know, like he be getting cooked. And you can't argue with these dudes. You can't argue with them. It's matriarchal men. You know, that's the two groups of dudes. Like, if you look in the comment section, right, and you find any hater comments on this channel, it's usually these two groups, these two guys right here. Right here. These are the type of guys right here that come in here. Because ain't nobody really, you know, they understand the deal. A masculine man that's on his purpose understand that the shit that we be talking about be real. You know, yeah, yo, that's why I kick him out of here. You know? Oh, man. Yeah, that's why I kick them out of there, man. I kick them out. I don't even want to hear what they got to say. Like, like a dude like that, I don't even care what he thinks. A dude like this, I don't even give a rat's ass what you think. I don't care. I don't care what you think. They be dealing with, you know, like get out of here. Like, don't even come in here. You know? You know, no, even better, like this is what them dudes be dealing with. That dude right there that come in here want to lecture us. This is what that guy be dealing with right now. I got it right here. This is what he be dealing with right here. This is the type of nonsense that be going on.
Stop getting in my way and let me speak, dude. You are my husband. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I am not under arrest. I am not under arrest. Leave me alone. Get away from me. I have PTSD about men. Leave me alone. You're making me anxious. Get back and listen to me.
Okay,
listen to me.
Okay,
listen, because this is my fiance and I can put my hands on him if I want to. This is my man. Are you listening to me? Are you listening? Can I sit down? Stop touching me. I told you I got PTSD about men putting their hands on me. Can you stop? I said I pushed him. I pushed him. That means get out my face. I'm trying to. Now shut the f up and listen. Y'all expect me to listen to y'all, and y'all can't listen to me. What is wrong with y'all?
Dude, that's the type of chick them dudes be dealing with. That's right there. Like Andrew, like, you know what I mean? Like that's the dudes that be arguing with us. That's the type of dude that be fighting with us. That's the dude who be fighting with us. That's what he got going on at home. So when you are a man living life free and on your own terms, that dude hates your guts. He hates you because he's got that at home, Andrew. That's what he got. That's what that dude's dealing with at home. Let me show you. Let's go back. This is what he's dealing with at home. That's why he's in here bothering us. He got that at home.
Is y'all cool? Y'all mental okay? Do y'all need a paramedic?
We're gonna go. Come on, we're gonna go. Come on.
What the f is wrong with y'all? Do you see him telling you, stop touching me? What are you talking about? I've been through too much.
Yeah.
We ain't going 1090. And I know what the f the police mean. I'm not stupid. Okay. I'm educated. And I'm tired of people playing with me like I'm dumb.
You want to always get our point across. That's why sometimes we just letting our talk and getting it out.
Let me calm down myself. I have a coping skill sitting right there. Leave me alone. And my got the audacity to sit up here and talk about me behind my back.
And again, that's the same dude that be up in here. Oh, y'all are just mad because y'all don't get no box. Yeah, we think we'll take a pass on that box you're getting, buddy. I'll take a strong hard pass. We'll be all right, brother. You can have all that box. You can have all that. Because that's the only dudes that would even take the time to come in here and have a conversation with us about nonsense is the dudes that's having sex with women like this. And he's not going to break up with her, you know. You know. He is not going to break up with her. He needs her to eat. I mean, whatever falls off her table, because she's eating most of the food. You know, this is what dudes is dealing with. An absolute insane woman. What man with any self-esteem would be look at her physically, but just in general, would be anywhere around a damn nutcase like this?
Like, I don't know. I'm not a child. I'm a grown adult. And I deserve to be respected, not harassed.
Well, so we got to go right now because this is a church event.
I don't care, bro. I don't give a f about none of that because you're not sitting up here and you're not listening. I'm the person that can make the world a better place. And I know I am. I know who I am. And I know I am a kind-hearted person. And I pay it forward every chance I get. And you have been a witness to that. You can attest to that.
Are you saying
you
you're
are
not
my
gonna,
fiance,
are you not
dude.
gonna leave? Are you not gonna leave? Are you not gonna see paramedics?
No.
Are you gonna leave today?
Yes, I'm going to leave. And that's what I'm trying to get my across and nobody's letting me. Because you're talking over me.
No, I'm not. I'm letting you talk.
No, he was. He was talking over me. That's my fiance that I've known more than 8 years. This is not a new relationship. He knows when I get like this, I push him away. You don't, because you don't know me. And you're always trying to arrest people for that you don't know about. Y'all stress people the out. Y'all make people have anxiety. This is why nobody likes the police.
Can I talk to you outside, sir?
Stop putting your hands on people. You arresting people for putting their hands on people.
What's your plan?
You can't even
We finna go to the city.
Because we're about to arrest her for battery.
Yeah, we finna go to the city right now. So
You feel safe with?
I know how she get because I've been with her since I was 16 years old.
Do you feel safe with them? Be honest. Because we're about to arrest her for battery, right? And it sounds like you're not giving me a quick answer, so it sounds like you're not.
Yeah, I love her.
What's she diagnosed with? Anything?
No, she don't do nothing. But she just
Is she diagnosed with anything?
No, she's not diagnosed with nothing. She just
What's her deal tonight?
She just wake up. She act like this all the time. She do this to me a lot. And when she eventually get over and come back when
Okay, but she just battered you. You know, our hands are tied. We're gonna have to probably arrest her.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
No, well, it's not really your choice. It's domestic battery.
Let me just talk to her one more time. And then let me see.
Well, you're not telling me that you feel safe with her. Now I
feel safe with her. That's my girl.
Well, now I don't feel good about you guys going together. So we're probably gonna have to arrest her. Okay, I believe you, but unfortunately, she battered you in front of us. Okay, and now I don't feel good about you guys leaving together. Okay, I understand. I believe you, but most likely we're gonna have to arrest her.
I'm getting stuff because people keep playing with me, G, and I'm not stupid. I don't need mental help. I don't need a psyche valve, G. I'm tired of holding in, and I'm tired of saving people's feelings. Leave me the alone. Let me calm myself down.
Can we tell you why we got here?
That's because of them.
Correct.
What you talking about?
Okay.
They don't know how to listen before calling the police, and then y'all come in and y'all just assume that this is going on, and it's not like that.
Well, we're not assuming. We just don't know what's going on until we get here, right? Obviously, we know now that you're okay and you don't need our help.
Exactly my point. Right. And I've been telling them stupid that too the whole time.
So again, they're going to have to arrest her because she assaulted him right in front of the police. Now, he doesn't want to put any charge on it. Now, if she did that before, out of sight, before they got there, and there's no signs of injury, you know, it would just be her word against his word. But he is such a, I mean, you're down bad. If that's your type of woman, you're down bad in the first place. But because she did it right in front of them, they're going to have to explain why they don't put any cuffs on her. But that's the thing about domestic violence. That's why statistics don't get reported when men get assaulted or when men get abused, because men are not going to say anything unless it gets to the point where it's completely like life-altering, damaging, serious injury. So she assaulted him in front of the police. She's aggressive. She's disturbing the peace. You got her for disorderly. You got her for all kinds of, you got her for assault, and you got her for disorderly. You know, and in some states, there's certain enumerated offenses where you can get arrested for domestic violence, but they have no choice. The assault happened. They witnessed it. Outside of that, mandatory signs of injury or damage to property, they witness an assault. Now, if they leave the scene, seeing her assaulting him, and then after that, they found out later on that night that she stabbed him to death or something like that, that's a liability issue. So I think if they're smart, they're going to throw cuffs on her and at least generate a report. Now, if he takes his simp ass down there and drop the charges or try to get her out of it, that's on him. But I think from a liability perspective, on camera, they have to put cuffs on her. It's just the way it is. I mean, I'm putting cuffs on her because just from a liability perspective, let her sleep in the night at the jail, and maybe she can get a psychic. Maybe if she go over there, she can get a psychic evaluation. Because if she's never had a psych evaluation, she's batshit crazy. You know, at least from a legal perspective, you've done everything possible to protect the victim, which is him in the situation. He don't look like he weighs half a fraction of what she weighs. And she's aggressive. She's loud. She doesn't see any problem with the way she's behaving. She thinks that everybody's supposed to adjust to her. And obviously there's something mentally wrong with her. But either way, she can figure that out at jail.
I've been in here treating the out of them. And that's what they want me to go for, is because I'm being loud. I understand the principle of respect.
Let me just talk to him one time.
No, just can you stay out here, please? Can you just stay out here? Look, here's the thing. You couldn't tell me right away that you feel safe with her, okay? And she battered you, and I don't feel good about you guys living together anymore.
No,
Okay,
'cause
so
I just
we're
woke
probably
up.
gonna arrest her.
I just woke up and I just found out what's wrong, so I just got the color pencil. I know how she get. I do feel safe with her, but I know where she coming from. Because earlier we took a walk in nature. Sometimes I'll be telling her like, just let her out. Breathe. When she let it out, sometimes feel better. I know she like to talk right now. She like to get a point across.
Obviously, you don't want to see the paramedics at all. That's fine.
Now my husband can come back up in here and get me because I got my point across, and that's what I've been.
You have a
choice.
Hey, sir, please stay out here. So he couldn't even tell me that he feels safe.
I'm
with her,
sorry.
So let's just go 95. Okay.
So I know how
it's
to
gonna be hard.
apologize
I know.
to people. Situation, it's just gonna get worse.
Right. Like I was saying. So obviously, someone called, and now the paramedics are here. They just want you to sign refusal paperwork saying that you don't want any treatment, and then they're gonna leave. That's all.
He is my calm, and once you tell me that I cannot have him in here because before she shoot him out of here, he's my calm.
Yeah.
This is my fiance.
Yeah.
I'm about to marry this man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've been in love with this man since 2016. Everybody needs to mind their business about my relationship and what I go through in it. I can tell them that I don't want any medical treatment because I know I don't need it.
Perfectly fine.
Okay,
And
that's
then- and
fine.
then
I
they'll
can
leave
walk
you
out there.
That's she didn't understand that she just gave the code to lock her ass up, because what happens is now they can put her down as a refusal. And once you're refusal, so they've scratched off the list medical. So they're going to try and cuff her. I want to see how she responds to being cuffed, because again, it you know, this can be taken care of at the jail. Obviously, the jail has resources to deal with people with mental health, but she don't realize that once all they're gonna do is write down on the paperwork refusal. I don't know which state this is in, but you can refuse medical care, and unless you're unconscious, what they call that doctrine now, like if you're laying on the ground and you cannot communicate and you're just incapacitated in some type of way, then EMS can treat you. They don't need your permission to treat you. But if you're, alert and awake and active like she is, she has the ability to refuse care. You can't force care upon her. You cannot. And unless she's committed some type of heinous crime or something, or she's unable to care for herself, that's something different. But in this situation, they've scratched that off the list. Now the situation comes in because they've allowed her to run her mouth too much anyhow, and allow her to control the scene as much as they're trying to avoid having to wrestle her down to the ground. And they're trying to take her kindly, not to generate a possibility of a lawsuit. So let's continue on.
I'm not going to put my hands on people. I'm not going
absolutely
straight into aggression. And that's what scares me about police arresting me. Because I've already been brutalized by police officers.
Shaylia, we're not trying to put handcuffs on you or anything like that, okay?
I understand that.
We
But
just
she
got
threatened
called.
me
I hear you.
with the police.
I hear
And
you.
that's what gives me anxiety. Baby, don't do that. Because I got PTSD and trauma.
That's not what I want
I
to
have
do.
maturity.
Yeah.
My maturity level is higher than others.
Yeah.
I play stupid. So people think they can overpower me.
But really, they can't.
They can't. They have no mindset like I do.
Right.
The mindset that I have, you don't have.
All right,
And you have shown me that over multiple times.
All right, let's move this along. Let's see if we get her in cuffs, because this is. Let's move this along.
Here, I'm not about to put my hands on nobody, and that's what I'm not.
All right.
You hold my arm. Can you stop? You're making it hard. It's on the back of my
All
phone.
right.
I have my birthday.
Okay.
I have all that. I don't need to go to the
let's
hospital.
go. Let's move
I'm
on.
telling you
Okay.
what is going
That's fine.
on with
That's
me.
fine. That's fine. But here's what's going to happen.
Let's move this along. Let's get her arrested and get her out of there.
Next, okay?
If I have to go, I don't care.
You have to come with us, okay? We have to charge you with battering him. Okay, and
No, you
and
don't.
I'm trying to
Because he
make
didn't
this.
press charges
I'm trying
on
to.
me.
It doesn't matter. It
sir.
doesn't
Yes,
matter.
it does.
It doesn't
Because
matter.
now
We're
you're
trying
sitting
to
up
make
here.
this. We're trying to make this as safe.
No, you're
as
not.
possible.
No, you're not.
You're
Get your
under
hands off of
arrest.
me.
You're
Get
under
your hands
arrest,
off of
Sheila.
me. This is what I mean by
Sheila,
police
you're under
brutality.
arrest. You're under arrest. Sheila, stop. Don't.
You're not leaving on the floor because you shot me. I swear to God. Stop touching me, dude. If you put the handcuffs on, can you move them so I can
Yes, we will. We will.
Dude,
Just
making it hard for me to breathe and you're making my anxious bad.
Just comply. Comply with
I
us.
get it.
Stop.
When you look at me, can you stop? Hurting me.
Stop.
Can you calm down?
Just comply with
I
us.
comply by myself. I'm perfectly capable
There you go.
of complying
Lock
by
him out.
myself. Let go of my right arm
Good
because
job.
you're digging into my vein. Let it go. What are you talking about? I don't care. Let it go. Let me go like that. You cut it off my circulation. You dumb. I don't need you to hold my arm. Can you stop?
You just said.
Can you stop? No. Can you stop?
Sheila.
You're hurting me.
Sheila, wait.
Are you listening? You're
Where's your
hurting
shoes?
me.
Where's your shoes?
Now I'm gonna need the police because you're making it hard for me to breathe. Shut the up. I'm trying to talk
Where's
to the
your shoes
officer. You're
at?
making it harder.
Ariana, where's your shoes at?
I can walk by myself. I will put my shoes on. Listen to me. I said listen.
Take it.
You're being too rough with a female.
We are asking you. Stop.
I said you're being too rough with me. I don't care.
Hey, look, man. So at the end of the day, they end up having to put hands on her. I mean, it's just, at the end of the day, they end up having to do what they didn't want to do. You know, she's gonna play this game. You know, try to talk her way out of a situation because that's what she's been able to do for most of her life is talk her way out of situations. No accountability, nothing. So watch, she's going to become the greatest victim ever. And I think the videotape is going to show the evidence of how patient the officers were with her, giving her every opportunity to go along peacefully. I mean, now she's playing this, drop her body weight down to the ground. That's about 300 pounds hitting the ground. It's going to be hard to move out of there.
Because now this is police brutality, and I'm reporting it. Put it on Facebook. Put it on Facebook.
Get up.
They're killing me. They're killing me.
Stop resisting.
They're making it hard for me to breathe, and they're not listening.
All right, that's enough of that. Yeah, I don't want YouTube to come in and like end my stream. Woo! That one's a rough job. God help us. That's the epitome of madness right there. You know. Ugh. Good luck with those officers. I mean, wow. Chicken breed. I'm just more worried about her arms, them arms under that heavy weight, her shoulders. Because he dropped down to the ground and she's going to fight. I knew she was going to fight. Because she tried that filibuster and talk her way out of the situation. So hopefully they get her in the car. Let me move it along. Let me see.
Now close the door. I can't get buckled. I don't need to be buckled because I can't breathe. I can't breathe. It's too tight. I can't breathe. It's too tight. Can you please loosen the cuffs? Can you please loosen the cuffs?
Please put your foot in the door.
I'm trying to talk to you and you're not listening. You're about to kill me. You're about to kill me.
See you at the PD.
My husband. What are you talking about? I pushed him. I didn't put my hands on him.
She didn't batter any of us, but
She's very large. She went totally limp. She's so heavy we couldn't carry her. That's what she did last week. Can I talk to you now? Okay.
You could have talked to me back then without arresting me. That is my fiance.
We're gonna get
You arrested me for pushing my fiance.
We're gonna get you out of the handcuffs here in a second, okay?
I'm a BBW, not a skinny person, and you're feeling on my breast, and it should be a female officer doing this. I have trauma with men. I'm trying to explain something.
Go into the room on the
They just don't care.
Okay, we're coming over here.
How many films did you do with Tyler Perry?
Two.
And then
Stop getting in my way and let me speak, dude. You are my husband. Leave me alone.
6 seasons of a series.
Right. So you guys really know.
Woo. Rough. Man, boy. That's fascinating, right? You think about what some dudes is some dudes is getting down with the wildlife out here, man. What the fuck? Imagine how down bad you have to be for that to be your woman. What type of economic, psychological, emotional, what kind of situation in your life do you have to be in for that to be your woman? You down bad. You are down bad. Man. Man, oh man. You said, oh my, just the energy alone. There is nothing female about that human being. I mean, like, wow. How do you have sex with something like that? Oh. Woo. But that be the guys that come in here talking crap to us. That's the dudes that be up in here. That's the guys who come in here and harass us on the channel. They're dealing with situations like that. Like, it's crazy. You know, they be up in here creating problems. But anyhow, I'm about to get out of here, guys. It's that lunchtime hour. You guys want to support the channel? Last chance to. Appreciate the guys who support the channel. Salute to Red Pill Science, Mr. Stu 97, Red Pill Science again, Black Goku 0, and my man Andrew Baker with the $20 super sticker. You were the sponsor of the day, but I appreciate all you brothers' support. You know, it's like, it is what it is, man. So with that being said, it's time to go eat. Peace and blessings to you guys, and I'm out of here.